The three officers breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Han's eyes filled with disappointment. Just then, a few astute tourists noticed the sound of rolling stones. With gasps of alarm, a rock the size of an infant's head suddenly tumbled down from the cliffside. As Zhao Han instinctively turned towards the source of the noise, the stone struck her forehead with a resounding thud. "Ah!" she cried out, collapsing to the ground. Blood streaming from her head, and lost consciousness. Witnesses could only exclaim in shock, their reactions limited to expressions of disbelief. The viewers in the live stream were equally startled. "Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. What a bizarre twist of fate. With so many people present, how did that rock land precisely on Zhao Han's head? Every coincidence is a product of fate. This must be what they call karmic retribution. Indeed, there is such a thing as retribution. Some things should not be said lightly. For instance, ever since I ran a red light, I haven't had a smooth day in over 6 months. Absolutely. Some things are indeed to be believed, like my neighbor, who couldn't conceive a son in 10 years of marriage. A fortune teller said their birth dates were incompatible. I took a look, and indeed, one was an outward 8 and the other an inward 8. Quite incompatible. The officers present were equally speechless. Zhao Han's misfortune was truly remarkable. Without a moment to spare to call for an ambulance, they hastily bandaged her and lifted her onto the town's security vehicle, departing swiftly. Thus, the 2 surviving motorcycle travelers and their 5 female companions found their materialistic worldview shaken. They gazed at Lin Shun with reverence, almost bowing and exclaiming, "Take care, sir." In this manner, under the scrutiny of many peculiar gazes, Lin Shun, accompanied by the 2 women, traversed the rocky path and continued onward. Overall, they had not delayed for too long. However, the comment section was abuzz with activity. Even though Lin Shun rarely interacted with the comments, his fans were engaged in lively discussions. There was much to converse about in Lin Shun's live stream. Before long, the stock trading group began to flood the comments again. Not only were there many participants, but the enthusiasm was palpable. They had all profited from short-selling stocks of Jiesuan Group the previous night. The arrests of He Tang and his father, combined with the public welfare fund scandal, had caused a significant stir in the capital markets of the Qiqi nation. Overnight, stock prices plummeted by more than 16%, with a market value evaporating by over 300 billion. Lin Shun discreetly inquired with Xiao Ji, learning that his total assets had skyrocketed from over 60 billion to over 90 billion Tang Kingdom dollars. This figure genuinely astonished Lin Shun. According to Xiao Ji, this was still due to insufficient principle. It was merely a taste of profits, while the real gains were being made by the national team of the Tang Kingdom. In recent times, the national team had profited handsomely from Jiesuan Group, accumulating nearly 30% of its stock. This indicated that the higher-ups had already begun to strategize on reigning in the untamed beast that was Jiesuan Group. Lin Shun could only sigh in admiration for the powers that be. This was the reality of the Tang Kingdom. In the Tang Kingdom, no matter how profound your background or how immense your capital, if you hinder development, whether dragon or tiger, you must be subdued. The saying that arrogance invites calamity was vividly illustrated in the Tang Kingdom. An hour later, the spare phone suddenly rang. Lin Shun picked it up to see that it was a call from Zhong Wenzhou. He immediately requested Lin Shun to mute the live broadcast. Once muted, Zhong Wenzhou's grave voice resonated. "Lin Shun, there's been a crisis. The person struck by lightning last night does not match the DNA of Luo Xianyi. Just now, the Immigration Control Department informed us that the real Luo Xianyi has boarded a flight back to her homeland. Her destination is Shuzhong City." Lin Shun. Chapter 332. Sanctioned? No panic, let's counter-sanction. Lin Shun felt bewildered. How could someone who was struck dead by lightning possibly return to life? Furthermore, this contradicted the rules of the curse of misfortune, which state that as long as one knows the name and appearance, it can take effect. When he cast the curse, it was specifically targeted at Luo Xianyi. The evidence confirmed that the curse indeed affected the previous Luo Xianyi. So, what then could explain the sudden appearance of another Luo Xianyi? At that moment, Zhong Wenzhou's voice continued from the phone. Luo Xianyi is merely a stage name. Her real name is Luo Xian. Upon our confirmation, we discovered that there indeed exists a Luo Xian who left Tang country 5 years ago and has not returned since. During these 5 years, another Luo Xianyi has remained active in the entertainment industry, even adopting the name Luo Xianyi. Thus, the Luo Xianyi in the country must have replaced the genuine Luo Xian 5 years ago through advanced disguise techniques. Just as the Luo Xianyi died, the real Luo Xian returned to the country, landing at Shuzhong International Airport. Moreover, the coroner found a heartbeat sensor implanted in Luo Xianyi's body. We suspect that the receiver for this device is in Luo Xian's possession. Therefore, I suspect there exists some connection between the two Luo Xians, and the latter may have returned due to the death of Luo Xianyi. Realization dawned upon Lin Shun. He had cursed Luo Xianyi. What did it have to do with Luo Xian? From this, he deduced an insight. The rules of the curse of misfortune were not as rigid as he thought. The subjective determination was key. Even if the deceased Luo Xianyi bore a different appearance from her true self, as long as he identified her, the curse would still fall upon Luo Xianyi. However, unless Luo Xian was aware that the assassination target was her, she would have no reason to pursue him. If she did know, the situation would become intriguing. Lin Shun suddenly recalled Pei Shanshan, who had been murdered in Caichi country. The nurse initially identified as the murderer in news reports was evidently an impersonator. If Luo Xian was indeed the culprit, it suggested she could very well be a fellow disciple of Luo Xianyi. This thought made Lin Shun anxious. Would Luo Xian truly come seeking vengeance? He inquired. Luo Xian is still on the plane, right? Once it lands, can you apprehend her? Zhong Wenzhou replied. We plan to use the investigation into Luo Xianyi's cause of death and their relationship as a pretext to have her cooperate. However, if we confirm that she and Luo Xianyi are two distinct individuals and her background is clean, we will ultimately have to release her. After all, strictly speaking, she is also a victim of impersonation. Lin Shun acknowledged. She might very well be the murderer of Pei Shanshan. Zhong Wenzhou responded. We considered that as well. But given that the incident occurred in Caichi country, it is challenging for us to intervene. We can only do our utmost. Lin Shun bade farewell and ended the call, hesitating for a moment before deciding to wait for the investigation results from Zhong Wenzhou's side. If it was confirmed that Luo Xian was an enemy, he would proceed to curse her severely. Moreover, through Luo Xianyi, Lin Shun had garnered a general understanding of her lineage's prowess. Even if they did meet, he could always defeat her once more. Upon returning and unmuting the broadcast, Lin Shun was taken aback by the barrage of comments on the screen, all inexplicably condemning Caichi country. He asked what is going on. Why is everyone criticizing Caichi country? Immediately, he heard Xiao Zhi's voice. Dad. Caichi country issued an official statement 2 minutes ago, primarily urging respect and protection for intellectual property rights, specifically mentioning the theft of designs from the Wuxing Group. They also indicated that they are considering sanctions against entities and individuals who disrespect intellectual property rights. Lin Shun couldn't help but laugh in anger. This is absurd. Caichi country is truly out of their minds. On one hand, they plot to bribe and kidnap me, and on the other, they come out to support the Wuxing Group and prepare to sanction me? I don't even have a passport to go abroad. What do they think they can achieve by sanctioning me? He mused. Caichi country claims to be the foremost nation, yet they think of sanctioning a mere online streamer like me. Don't they fear losing face? No wonder the comments in the live broadcast were so animated. I swear, if I hadn't seen the report, I would have thought it was fake news. Utterly shameless. The patent issue has nothing to do with Caichi country at all. Do they really think they are the world's peacekeepers? Wow. Lin Shun has truly made it. Even Caichi country is trying to pull a fast one on him. I bet there's definitely someone from Mango Factory pulling strings behind this. Unable to attain it themselves, they want to ruin it for others. Lin Shun is incredible. The first online streamer to be sanctioned by Caichi country. Just in terms of prestige, I, Lin Shun, am already invincible. I'm dying of laughter. What are they even trying to sanction? As the saying goes, the unyielding are the strongest, just like my family member, who used to threaten me with sanctions to sleep in the guest room. Now she begs me to return, and I won't even acknowledge her. Lin Shun chuckled at the comments. He meant what he said and intended to take action. Once the Quafu Group began operations, he would completely block the market of Caichi country. This would undoubtedly result in a significant loss of revenue from that region. However, the planet is vast, and it is not solely inhabited by Caichi country. Do they truly consider themselves the center of the world? Tons have changed. Not to mention, just the thermal semi-fluid battery alone has the potential to revolutionize the entire energy industry. In one word, they are far ahead of all competitors. At that point, it would be Caichi country that would end up slapping their own face and coming to plead for cooperation. Chapter 333. A storm is brewing. Lin Shun and his companions continued on their journey. However, the situation continued to escalate. Anyone with eyes could see that Caichi country's statement was primarily aimed at Lin Shun. Many who had previously overlooked the Wuxing Group's allegations of design theft began to take notice of the matter. As the relevant insider information was comprehensively reported by various social media outlets, countless individuals expressed their astonishment that a prominent nation, known as the Banner Country, would impose sanctions on a mere online walking host from Tang Country. Is this not akin to deploying a nuclear weapon to swat a mosquito? The entire internet erupted in fervor, particularly on platforms such as Tushio, where influencers of all sizes began to capitalize on this wave of attention, sharing their perspectives. As Lin Chen's resolute statements regarding counter-sanctions and snippets from his live broadcast surfaced, the fervor reached unprecedented heights. The live streamer Lin Chen's counter-sanctions against the banner country skyrocketed to the top of trending searches. Following closely was the second trending topic, the banner country's declaration concerning the protection of intellectual property, announcing sanctions against certain individuals from Tang country, creating a remarkable synergy. In the background, the investigation into the tragic case of the Maimin electric vehicle mother and daughter who fell into a river was resolved, ranking third. This case, when it first broke, had created significant waves, largely due to the involvement of a company from the banner country, Maimin Group. Their flagship Maimin electric vehicles were touted as the most advanced globally and had gained immense popularity in Tang country. However, widespread braking issues arose, sparking considerable controversy. Consequently, when Zhuan Rongxing's wife and daughter tragically drove their Maimin electric vehicle off an overpass into the river, it was initially believed to be caused by braking problems. Now that the case has been resolved, many are shocked by the cruel truth of the events. Simultaneously, it has been confirmed that some of those electric vehicles indeed had braking issues. In an instant, Maimin Group found itself at the center of scrutiny. The company swiftly issued an official statement, adopting a rather assertive tone, asserting that their electric vehicles posed no braking problems and suggesting that the vehicles involved in the incident may have suffered from human tampering. This statement too quickly ascended to trending status. In the comments section, a multitude of individuals engaged in mocking derision, noting that since the vehicle in question had already been disposed of, any defense would be mere words. Furthermore, many shared links to the video of Zhuan Rongxing and Meng Xiaona confessing their crimes in Lin Chen's live stream, garnering countless likes and becoming prominently featured. As time went on, the narrative surrounding the Wuxing Group began to shift subtly. Initially, numerous social media commentators uniformly criticized the banner country and the Wuxing Group. However, at some point, a myriad of influential figures, each with millions of followers, began to voice their opinions. Their rhetoric urged the public to refrain from blindly following the crowd and to cultivate a mindset of calm, independent thought, advocating for a rational perspective on the matter. Given the Wuxing Group and the banner country's audacious accusations, it was likely they possessed relevant evidence. From a rational standpoint, it seemed illogical for an online walking host to have suddenly conceived a groundbreaking invention. The peculiarities of the situation naturally prompted skepticism, which was indeed justified. Thus, the call for a measured approach to the unfolding drama became prevalent, with a warning against hasty conclusions. Some influencers were even more direct, openly ridiculing Lin Chen's counter-sanction remarks, employing terms such as arrogant, childish, and devoid of meaning to characterize his actions. The comment sections of these influential figures erupted into chaos, with supporters and detractors clashing, while others incisively pointed out that these influencers were merely engaging in a fallacious argument, exemplifying the victim-blaming narrative. This narrative of victim-blaming can be likened to a scenario where a girl walking alone at night is assaulted, yet the blame is placed on her for wearing a short skirt. Similarly, in this case, despite the Wuxing Group's inability to present substantial evidence against Lin Chen, some individuals preemptively assumed Lin Chen lacked the capability to develop such a patent, rendering all accusations and sanctions against him seemingly reasonable. While appearing to analyze the issue from a rational perspective, they were, in fact, forcefully defending the statements made by the banner country. Upon the emergence of these comments, many of their followers were left bewildered, sensing an unsettling dissonance, resulting in widespread expressions of disappointment in the comment sections and subsequent unfollows. Among them were numerous fans of Lin Chen. Following their unfollows, many still felt aggrieved, promptly entering Lin Chen's live stream to express their outrage. This is infuriating. I used to quite like Lao Yan's commentary, but this time he has clearly taken a biased stance. Absolutely, I've unfollowed Lao Yan as well. I once thought he had a sound perspective, but now I realize he is merely engaging in verbal gymnastics. And Fengyan chat, that guy has long since deviated from reason. Once again, he has surfaced, a walking embodiment of hypocrisy. Why is no one holding these public intellectuals accountable? What enrages me most is that some individuals, under the guise of being university professors, are also defending the Wuxing Group and the banner country, mocking Lin Chen as a mere amateur. To be frank, many highbrow intellectuals have been severely westernized. In some respects, they are less grounded than laborers. This is intolerable. Lin Chen, let us take action against these insufferable influencers. Upon reading these comments, Lin Chen couldn't help but furrow his brow. He recognized Lao Yan, whose real name is Yan Shirue, as a leading influencer on Daily Tushio. prominent in the realm of social media. Having retired as a director of a local television station, his usual content revolves around discussing domestic and international affairs. He once garnered a substantial following through incisive critiques, rapidly amassing over 50 million followers within half a year of joining Tushio. However, in the past year, many have begun to perceive a troubling shift in his demeanor. While his commentary on domestic matters remains sharp, he becomes vague when addressing certain international events, lacking his former acuity. As for Feng Yunchat, it has long been revealed that he changed his nationality and his persona has crumbled. He now resides in a foreign land. Lin Shun then let out a cold smile. This situation was both unexpected and yet not surprising. A stark reality is that many influencers aspire to their status primarily for monetary gain. Once the cash flow begins, they will readily distort truths, presenting falsehoods as facts, treating it as commonplace. For them, earning money while compromising integrity is not seen as an embarrassment. However, for individuals like Yan Shirue, who are supposed to uphold a certain standard, such behavior is unacceptable. How could someone with a government position and a pension come forward to support the banner country at a time like this, proclaiming the need for rationality, yet failing to embody it themselves? How can one speak on matters they know nothing about? Have they ever heard of the Kwafu Group? Regardless of Yan Shirue's motivations or whether he has received any incentives from the banner country, encountering him here means Lin Shin would not hold back. Just as Lin Shin prepared to speak, a comment appeared in the live stream. Wow, Gu Xiyun just posted on Weibo, attacking Lin Shin. The moment this comment appeared, the entire live stream's comments exploded. Is that true? Why is Gu Xiyun wading into these murky waters? I just saw it too. Gu Xiyun accused Lin Shin of cutting in line and stealing his spot for the Spring Festival Gala, and even mocked him by saying that anyone can make it onto the gala. I saw it too. It infuriated me. I once thought he was quite inspirational. I never expected him to be this kind of person. Pure envy. He is merely a talentless celebrity propped up by capital. If I were Director Zhang, I would have replaced him too. This is ridiculous. When the walls start to crumble, everyone rushes to push it down, right? Now even the most insignificant of people are jumping in. As Lin Shin read these comments, one thought resonated in his mind. It seems there are quite a few players in today's game. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Zhong Wenzhou was watching Lin Shin's live stream on his tablet. Silently, he forcefully inserted the charging cable into the phone's charging port. Chapter 334, Lin Shin's response. If you are dissatisfied, then hold it in. At this moment, as Gu Xiyun emerged to accuse Lin Shin, the barrage of comments in the live stream had already become quite heated. Such situations were not unprecedented. When the rumors about Zhang Nantian first surfaced, the public sentiment was overwhelmingly against him. However, at that time, only a few sensationalist streamers, like Xiong Go and Xingxiu, joined in. Now, as the incident continued to escalate, countless small and large media outlets across the internet, as well as celebrities from the entertainment industry, seized the opportunity to comment on Lin Shin. Lin Shin had not expected that by agreeing to appear on the show, he would inadvertently attract an adversary. He was well aware that Gu Xiyun was a relatively popular celebrity. Born into immense wealth, his family had established an entertainment company solely to support his aspirations. After nearly a decade in the industry, he had little of note to show for his efforts. His singing was subpar, his acting lacked skill, and only his appearances on variety shows were commendable. Known for his sharp tongue and straightforward demeanor, he had garnered a significant following. He was seen as a typical example of someone who sacrificed a vast family fortune to pursue a career in entertainment and achieved some success. His journey, in the eyes of his fans, was quite inspirational. To secure this opportunity for Gu Xiyun, his family had undoubtedly invested considerable resources, making his subsequent dismissal all the more infuriating. It was likely that upon learning the news, he had been seething with anger, and now he finally had his chance. Lin Shin chuckled upon observing the situation and remarked, Gu Xiyun is dissatisfied that I took his opportunity, is he? Let us not say I didn't give him a chance. There are still 3 months until the new year. If within this time he can fill the key charts with his songs, I will gladly step aside. Otherwise, he can continue to stew in his frustration. As for the likes of Yan Shirue, let them say what they will. If they don't voice their opinions now, they may never have the chance again. With these words, the audience in the live stream, who had long been harboring pent-up frustration, erupted in excitement. Ha ha ha, Lin Shin speaks with such conviction. If you're dissatisfied, stew in it. Lin Shin is being quite harsh on Gu Xiyun, not to mention 3 months. Even 30 years would be a stretch. Wow. Lin Shin is clearly ready to take on these big names. I wonder how Yan Shirue feels right now. No chance to speak in the future? Is it that serious? Is this about to get intense? Lin Shin is incredible. Regardless of their age or gender, he is ready to take them on. After making this statement, Lin Shan paid no further attention to the matter and did not call Zhong Wenzhou. This time, he intended to make a significant move. He was eager to see which other characters would emerge, ready to deal with them all. Meanwhile, while he was idle, Xiaoji was far from inactive. In silence, various reports and materials were being compiled and organized. Shortly after Gu Xiyun posted on Weibo, many friends from the industry, including directors and producers, quickly shared, liked, and commented, questioning the fairness of director Zhang's choice of performers. Where there are people, there is a world of intrigue. Gu Xiyun may have been speaking up for himself, but others were not necessarily doing the same, and their pointed criticisms were directed squarely at director Zhang. In the capital, within a luxurious villa in Fengzhuang, valued at over 500 million, Gu Xiyun lay on a lounge chair by the pool, watching the likes on his phone steadily increase, a smile spreading across his handsome face. Just then, a short-haired woman, around 35 with a commanding presence, strode into the villa. Upon seeing Gu Xiyun, her sharp eyes narrowed, and she exclaimed, "Gu Xiyun." Startled, Gu Xiyun sat up, resembling a mouse caught by a cat. He quickly plastered a smile on his face and said, "Sister, why aren't you at the high-tech lab? What brings you here?" He stood up, feigning an intention to embrace her. The short-haired woman pushed him away, her face stern as she said, "Did you just post on Weibo?" Gu Xiyun blinked, replying, "I post a lot every day. Which one are you referring to?" The woman retorted coldly, "Stop playing dumb. Did you mock Lin Shan?" Gu Xiyun, hearing this, waved his hand impatiently, reclining back in his chair. "I did mock him. What of it? Is it fair for him to take my opportunity without me being able to retort? I admit he sings well and has talent, but in the end, he is just an internet celebrity. The industry is already saying that I, Gu Xiyun, am inferior to a mere internet star. Where does that leave my dignity?" The woman's eyes brimmed with anger as she spoke through gritted teeth. "There are some matters I cannot elaborate on, but you absolutely cannot provoke Lin Shan. You cannot afford to." Gu Xiyun raised an eyebrow. "Why? Is he from some influential family?" The woman replied tersely, "He is not from any family. But you simply cannot provoke him. Not you, nor our father. I advise you to delete that post immediately and apologize, or when Dad returns, he will undoubtedly be furious with you." Gu Xiyun's expression shifted as he sat up straighter, eyes wide. "No way. I had no idea he was that formidable." The woman, incensed, said, "Did you not do any research before you insulted him? Lin Shan's background is easily found online. Did you not bother to look?" Gu Xiyun replied, "I did look into it. It's about Guan Yaya, right? The industry is already saying that he was involved. But who believes that? He is just a figurehead. The real manipulator is that wicked woman, Yi Xiaoxi." The woman took a deep breath and said, "Did you not see the news about Jixuan Group?" Gu Xiyun chuckled, "Sister, you can't possibly think that the situation with Jixuan Group is because of Lin Shan, can you? He is just an internet celebrity. How could he have such power? The thunder from Jixuan was bound to strike eventually. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Even if he played some role, it would be merely a small spark. However, since you say he may have some influence, I'll entertain the thought. Regardless, I've already offended him. What is the worst that could happen? Let's see whose strength is greater." The woman stared coldly at Gu Xiyun and remarked, "It seems our father has indeed spoiled you too much. You should never have entered the entertainment industry." Saying this, she pulled out her phone and called their father. Gu Xiyun, alarmed, shouted, "Wait, sister, who are you calling? What is going on? I'm your brother. Why are you siding with outsiders? Honestly, are you interested in that internet celebrity?" The call was quickly connected. The short-haired woman briefly explained Gu Xiyun's Weibo post to their father and added, "Dad, I can't convince him. You'll have to handle it yourself. I need to catch a flight to Sichuan. I'll be late otherwise." With that, she hung up and headed for the door. Just then, her phone rang again. Upon seeing the caller ID, her expression shifted, and she answered, "Director Gua. I just returned home to grab my luggage. I promise I won't delay the task." An elder's voice came through the phone, "Gu Feifei. We just had a small meeting here and re-evaluated the personnel for the execution of the task. You no longer need to go to Sichuan." Gu Feifei's face paled instantly. Taking a deep breath, she said, "Understood. I will comply with the organization's decision." After the call ended, Gu Feifei set down her phone and turned to glare fiercely at Gu Xiyun, her eyes reddening. Gu Xiyun, taken aback, nervously asked, "Sister, why are you looking at me like that? Why are your eyes red? Did you get dumped?" Feifei, expressionless, kicked off her sneakers, took a few steps towards the lounge chair, and delivered a powerful kick. "Ah!" Gu Xiyun yelped as he tumbled into the water. Chapter 335, A Hand Raised. In nuclear peace, Lin Shan makes his move as Lin Shan responded during the live stream. The situation escalated once again. Countless onlookers, reveling in the chaos, flocked to mock and incite Gu Xiyun beneath his collar. However, to many surprise, the usually confrontational Gu Xiyun remained silent this time. After a considerable wait, there was still no sign of a response from him. Meanwhile, the comment section under Yan Shirui's post quickly filled with Lin Chen's dedicated fans. In Dun City, within a luxurious residential complex, the silver-haired Yan Shirui was amusing his 3-year-old grandson while checking the notifications on his news app. Expecting an influx of support, he was taken aback by the new comments appearing in the section. Old Yan's time is running out. Came to light a stick of incense ahead of time. The Lin Shen law has taken effect, waiting for Shirui to become a sacrifice. Don't panic, Old Yan. I support you. Eat and drink well, wear more red clothes. And remember to cover yourself well. When the 7th day comes, Lin Shen will avenge you. His face turned pale with rage, trembling at the audacity of the viewers consumed by the live stream. This was undoubtedly an organized and premeditated act of online bullying. Yet, the thought of the 500,000 in a foreign bank account belonging to his daughter-in-law brought a flicker of joy back to his mood. He then posted a brief article on the news app. All my previous doubts were based on scientific common sense and rigorous logical reasoning, aiming for a rational discussion and analysis of the event. If Lin Shen believes I am wrong, I welcome substantial evidence to counter my claims. If proving my assertions about advancements in our nation's cutting-edge technology requires me to be slapped in the face, I would willingly travel to Sichuan, allowing him to strike both cheeks until he is satisfied. Regrettably, the greater the hope, the deeper the disappointment. Instead of evidence, I received threats and a barrage of organized personal attacks. I am deeply disappointed and saddened. Our country must take serious measures to regulate live streaming, further standardizing the content to prevent a select few from exploiting this emerging field under the guise of amateur science to deceive the public. Finally, he attached several screenshots of the online bullying he had experienced. After confirming there were no typos, he published the article, a smile of relief gracing his face. At that moment, a voluptuous and beautiful woman emerged from the bedroom, holding a baby bottle and smiling at the grandfather-grandson duo. "Dad, what has you so happy?" she inquired. Yan Shirui cheerfully accepted the bottle, feeding his grandson. "Just a small matter. Is the baby hungry? Grandpa is hungry too. Soon." Yan Shirui's response was relayed back to Lin Chen's live stream. Lin Chen glanced at Yan Shirui's article on his spare phone and couldn't help but chuckle. He then looked up at the live audience and earnestly asked, "In this situation, if I were to slap him into dementia, would his family come after me?" "No. He has shown such sincerity. I must reply to him." The audience in the live stream erupted with excitement. Lin Shen was finally targeting Yan Shirui, ready to stir up trouble. Countless viewers immediately logged into the news app, refreshing Yan Shirui's latest article. Soon, in the latest comments, Lin Shen wrote, "Thank you, Old Yan, for your concern for the future of our nation. The journey to Sichuan is long. You need not come. Just record a video of yourself slapping your face 100 times. It will surely become a memorable tale. Yan Shirui's son, Yan Jintong. Take good care of your elderly father. After all, at his age, he still helped you have a brother." As this segmented reply appeared, countless viewers, already poised in Lin Chen's live stream, liked it without even reading, quickly reaching over 100,000 likes, prominently pinned at the top. Upon a closer look, the onlookers were left bewildered. The first line was easily understood, prompting many to laugh out loud. Lin Shen was merciless, not only demanding Yan Shirui to slap himself, but also to share the video for all to witness his humiliation. Should such a day come, Yan Shirui would likely be too embarrassed to continue in the media circle. However, the second line left many scratching their heads. What did Lin Shen mean? What did he mean by at his age, still helping you have a brother? Yan Jintong was indeed Yan Shirui's son, currently a mid-level employee at a television station. Yet, in terms of reputation, he paled in comparison to Yan Shirui. Thus, his news app ID bore the prefix Yan Shirui's son, a tactic to ride on his father's coattails. Now a popular figure with over 10 million followers, Lin Chen's words were cryptic, laden with implications. As many pure-hearted individuals attempted to grasp the meaning, the comments section erupted in chaos. "Oh my gosh, Jintong's in for it. I can't believe I understood. Is this real? The use of help is superb. Old Yan is impressive. Still supporting his children in his old age, a true embodiment of familial duty. I'm cracking up. This is definitely the media circle's century's biggest scandal. I salute Old Yan. What has marriage brought to men? Yan Jintong, be careful. Your son might grow up to dispute the inheritance with you." Seeing these replies, those who were initially confused began to understand. The atmosphere was electric with disbelief. Subsequently, the comment section beneath the article exploded. Yan Shirui's fans were enraged. condemning Lin Chen's despicable methods, accusing him of slander and demanding accountability. However, many of Lin Chen's fans kindly reminded them, although Lin Chen stirred up trouble, he had never fabricated rumors. Rather, every rumor he spread had turned out to be true. They listed instances of Lin Chen's previous actions that had led to consequences for others. Faced with these comments, Yin Shirue's fans began to panic. Could it be true? Old Yin was nearing 80. Could he truly be that vigorous? Meanwhile, at a television station studio, Yin Jintong, directing the setup, suddenly felt the curious gazes of those around him, leaving him perplexed. Suddenly, his phone vibrated in his hand. He glanced at it to find a message from a close female colleague. Yin Gu, something's happened online. You should check this out. Look at the comments. Attached was a link. Upon clicking it, he was taken aback. Wasn't this his father's article? Was he clashing with Lin Chen again? As he read on, his eyes widened in shock, his breath quickening, and his fingers trembling. He was oblivious to the sympathetic glances surrounding him, with only a few staff members adjusting the lighting. Suddenly, a beam of green light cascaded down from above, illuminating the motionless Yin Jintong. The green hue was almost painful to behold. Meanwhile, in Lin Chen's live stream, the comments were ablaze. Chapter 336. The situation escalates. The latest developments of Luo Xianyi. Lin Chen glanced at the barrage of comments with a faint smile and remarked, "Let us not feel too sorry for Yin Jintong. He still has a biological son, albeit not residing at home." Upon utterance, the barrage erupted once more. What the hell? Is this for real? This drama is getting more absurd by the moment. Aren't you worried Yan's family might sue you for defamation, Lin Chen? My goodness. Is this what they call like father, like son? If this word gets out, Yin Jintong's colleagues at the television station will all be on edge. Thus, one must not be too idle, nor too affluent. Take me, for instance. My pockets are cleaner than my face. When my girlfriend and I went out on a date, I inadvertently discovered she brought along her charger and makeup remover, leaving me no choice but to take her to an internet cafe for a gaming session. Lin Chen chose to leave the topic there, refraining from further discussion. Meanwhile, the headlines surrounding Yin Shirue and Yin Jintong had ignited a frenzy. Countless individuals left comments in pursuit of more information. Journalists and bloggers from Dun City swiftly made their way to the upscale neighborhood where Yin Shirue resided, waiting outside. Moments later, a blogger reported the latest news. Yin Shirue had succumbed to anger and fainted, prompting an ambulance to enter the community and transport him to the hospital. Subsequently, reporters captured footage of Yin Jintong, who arrived at the hospital and angrily chastised his wife outside the operating room, leading to a heated argument in the corridor. Yin Jintong berated his wife for her lack of propriety, to which she retorted, revealing that she had long been aware of his affair with a woman named Zhao from his workplace. The altercation escalated into a physical scuffle, and relevant videos quickly surfaced online, solidifying Lin Chen's assertions and inciting a considerable uproar. Shortly thereafter, news broke from within the television station where Yin Jintong worked, stating that Zhao's husband had caused a scene at the station. In response, the television station swiftly issued an announcement, temporarily suspending all work for both Yin Jintong and Zhao pending an investigation into their alleged misconduct. In Lin Chen's live stream, messages continued to flood in. Observing the incoming messages, Lin Chen remained silent. This was merely the beginning. The unforeseen turn of events concerning Yin Shirue left other influencers, who had previously mocked Lin Chen, utterly bewildered. Yin Shirue, seasoned in the world of media, had never faced such a significant downfall. Little did he anticipate that a mere offhand comment from Lin Chen would lead to his hospitalization, tarnish the reputation of both father and son, and threaten to unravel their family. Previously, they had scoffed at the so-called Lin Chen law, but at this moment, they began to sense a sinister gaze fixed upon them. Acutely aware of the fear instigated by Lin Chen's influence, they recognized that Lin Chen was making an example out of Yin Shirue. Yet the severity of it was akin to executing the proverbial chicken to warn the monkey. With Yin Shirue already down, who could be next? Those who had covertly accepted money felt an intensified dread. In a flurry of fear, many influencers discreetly deleted their articles or videos. The more timid among them even issued public apologies to Lin Chen for their previous remarks, only to be met with scorn from netizens. Lin Chen, however, chose not to respond to any of this. The trio continued their journey, traversing several tunnels. As they approached their destination, Lin Chen and his companions stopped at a roadside Sichuan restaurant to enjoy lunch. Midway through their meal, Lin Chen received a phone call from Zhong Wenzhou. He promptly excused himself and stepped outside to a secluded corner. On the line, Zhong Wenzhou spoke gravely. "Half an hour ago, Luo Xian's flight landed. When our people found her, she was quite cooperative. From her account, 5 years ago, Luo Xinyi approached her, threatening her as the director of the orphanage she grew up in, demanding all her original songs, and even had her report a lost second ID card, along with providing a full set of fingerprint models before leaving Tang country. After that, Luo Xinyi began to replace her in the domestic music scene. Lin Chen frowned. Luo Xian is an orphan? Would she really capitulate to Luo Xinyi for such reasons? Zhong Wenzhou replied, she is indeed an orphan, and since her debut, she has been donating to the orphanage, even visiting the children regularly. However, this doesn't imply much. Luo Xinyi is dead now, and she can explain however she wishes. I've reviewed the interrogation footage. Her psychological resilience is formidable, and there were no discernible flaws in her words. Even the psychologists present couldn't ascertain her true feelings through micro-expressions. Lin Chen inquired, what explanation did she offer for the heartbeat sensor within Luo Xinyi? Zhong Wenzhou replied, she provided none, claiming that after leaving Tang country, she lost all contact with Luo Xinyi and could only follow the news to glean her whereabouts. Lin Chen pondered for a few seconds and said, after replacing Luo Xian, did Luo Xinyi also visit the orphanage children? Zhong Wenzhou stated yes. When we brought this up with Luo Xian, she explained that Luo Xinyi might be using this as a means to continue threatening and reminding her not to return, while also disguising herself more convincingly to avoid arousing suspicion. A glint of sharpness flashed in Lin Chen's eyes. That orphanage warrants a thorough investigation. Zhong Wenzhou responded, we are already looking into it, but thus far, no issues have been uncovered. As for Luo Xian herself, she has no criminal record and is not directly connected to Luo Xinyi's death, so we cannot detain her any longer. After completing the inquiry, we have released her. Lin Chen felt an ominous sensation and asked, where did she go? Zhong Wenzhou chuckled wryly. She rented a car from a rental agency and is heading toward your direction along National Route 318. However, rest assured, we have dispatched personnel to follow her. And there are already our people stationed in Badong, along with a contingent of elite forces aboard a transport plane, who will surely arrive before she does. If she dares to cause trouble, there will be no escape. Lin Chen was momentarily speechless. This woman was audacious beyond measure. Knowing that the security bureau had set its sights on her, she still dared to approach. Was it sheer bravado, or was there another motive? Regardless, let her come. At worst, it would be a tumultuous showdown. Chapter 337, Luo Xian's Unconventional Tactics. The crisis approaches just as Lin Chen was about to end the call. A new incoming call from Zhong Wenzhou interrupted him. Zhong Wenzhou's voice tightened. Don't hang up just yet. Let me take this call. There might be new developments from Luo Xian. He switched the call line. Moments later, Zhong Wenzhou's voice returned, sounding peculiar. Lin Chen. Luo Xian just started a live stream on Fengyin. She claims it's a sudden whim to drive along Route 318, and she specifically mentioned you, expressing admiration for your musical talent and her intent to take you down. Just a minute into her stream, her viewership has already surpassed 100,000. Lin Chen. He couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. He had anticipated numerous scenarios, yet never imagined that Luo Xian would launch a live stream. What the hell does she mean by taking me down? Is she showing up with a Barrett rifle to snipe me? Why not emulate the Emperor's City brother? And furthermore, she can come, but what else with the live stream? If she intends to kill me, that's one thing. Stealing my spotlight is absolutely unacceptable. Noticing Lin Chen's silence, Zhong Wenzhou reassured. Though her intentions remain unclear, judging by her demeanor, it doesn't seem like she seeks your demise. I suggest we observe for now. Perhaps you two could become great confidants and friends. Lin Chen queried. Does she have weapons in her vehicle? Zhong Wenzhou pondered. Do a shovel and a towing rope count? Lin Chen replied earnestly. You must keep a close watch on her. I suspect she intends to bind and bury me. Zhong Wenzhou offered a wry smile. We'll do our best. To be honest, I suspect her live streaming is actually aimed at us, making it hard for our people to approach unless a genuine emergency arises. Otherwise, it would be inappropriate to act against her. After all, she is publicly a top-tier singer, and any misstep could lead to a severe public incident. I reiterate, if it becomes too difficult, perhaps you should refrain from walking altogether. Lin Chen, holding his phone, gazed up at the azure sky and said, Old Zhong, let me speak candidly. You think I'm merely walking, but in truth, I bear the weight of countless lives, striving forward for the continuation of humanity. Seconds later, Zhong Wenzhou sincerely remarked, Old Lin, when you're no longer walking and you publish a book, regardless of the platform, whether it features a sole female protagonist or a harem, I shall support it wholeheartedly. Infuriated, Lin Chen hung up the phone. After all, he had finally spoken the truth. Yet Old Zhong not only disbelieved him, but also humiliated him. This friendship was no longer tenable. He promptly returned to the restaurant. Upon entering, he noticed an odd atmosphere. Li Xiao and Shuer looked at him with a hint of apprehension. Shuer was still chewing on a large mouthful of food. Frowning, he inquired, "What's wrong?" Li Xiao gazed at him with an odd expression and pointed at the live streaming phone. Shuer hastily swallowed her food and exclaimed, "Someone wants to connect with you." Upon hearing this, Lin Shen felt an unsettling premonition. He glanced at the live streaming phone, where a connection request appeared on the screen. And the ID of the initiating streamer was unmistakably Luo Luo, the little fairy. Meanwhile, the barrage of comments scrolled rapidly. "Oh, the fairy Luo is actually connecting with Lin Shen. Pure fantasy collaboration. Goodness. Lin Shen is destined to become a star collector. I hereby declare the birth of CP01. What the heck is CP01? We just want to know who is 0 and who is 1. Here it comes. Lin Shen is here. Hurry to connect. Lin Shen, Luo Xianyi says she is coming for you. Are you surprised or not?" Lin Shen felt a jolt in his eye. It truly was Luo Xian. While he felt no joy, he was overwhelmed with dread. Was this woman here to provoke him? Lin Shen stared at the connection prompt, lost in thought. Seeing him remain motionless, Li Xiao urged, "Why aren't you connecting?" Lin Shen glanced at her, sensing a hint of acidity in her tone. He then tapped the screen to accept the connection request. As the connection was established, Li Xiao's brow slightly furrowed, and she focused intently on the screen. The image shifted, revealing a woman on the right side of the screen, Luo Xian. When he had previously encountered Luo Xianyi, she had disguised herself as Li Xiao, so Lin Shen had not felt much at the time. Now, seeing Luo Xian, he could not help but be taken aback by her stunning beauty. To put it simply, she was breathtaking, as if she had been airbrushed. Her skin and features were exquisite, but her true allure lay in her bone structure. Her face had little flesh. At first glance, she exuded an ethereal, otherworldly charm. Her pitch-black eyes were as tranquil as a deep pool, revealing little emotion. No wonder she was hailed as the most celestial star in the entertainment industry. However, this momentary awe in Lin Shen's heart quickly dissipated. If he confirmed that this woman was his enemy, he would prefer her to plunge off a cliff immediately. It was evident that Luo Xian had her phone propped on the car's central console, causing the live stream to shake slightly. She held the steering wheel lightly. Driving while live streaming, her gaze fixed ahead. She cast a fleeting glance at the phone, and, upon seeing Lin Shen's face, her not-so-rosy lips curled into a smile as she said, "It's our first meeting. I am Luo Xian, and I'm here to target you." A simple greeting, yet a straightforward declaration. Implicitly, regardless of Lin Shen's consent, she would proceed. This scene, from the perspective of Lin Shen and Luo Xian's fans, appeared exceptionally cool. A throng of admirers flooded the comments with excitement. Others noted that Luo Xianyi referred to herself as Luo Xian, prompting questions. Soon, someone educated the crowd, explaining that before changing her name, Luo Xianyi was originally named Luo Xian. Lin Shen chuckled at this revelation. Once seated, he jokingly remarked, "Targeting is fine, but please don't bring a gun." In response, Luo Xian smiled deepened slightly. "You can't carry a gun at your waist. Yet I am not allowed to have one for protection?" Upon hearing this, the comment sections of both live streams erupted. "What? Is this really the Luo Xian I know? This is too bold. It's over. Luo Xianyi is clearly here for Lin Shen's physique. Smart sister has found an adversary. After all these years without scandals, Luo Xianyi seems to be harboring feelings for Lin Shen. This will undoubtedly shake the entire entertainment industry. Ha ha. I recall Su Tianwang once vowed to remain single for life if he couldn't win over Luo Xianyi. If he finds out, he'll surely faint in the restroom. What? Is Lin Shen's gun really that long? Can it be at his waist? I just can't believe it. Those upstairs are being overly dramatic. My Lin Shen is extraordinary. With a red tassel gun, he could open the gates of heaven, scaring even the dogs of the neighboring village. Incredible. How did he manage to capture Luo Xian without making a sound? While the viewers in the live stream went wild, Lin Shen remained composed. However, Li Xiao and Schwenner's expressions shifted slightly. Simultaneously, Yi Xiaoxi and Brother Yuan, who were watching Lin Shen's live stream, also changed their demeanor. They all knew that Lin Shen indeed had a gun at his waist. Was it merely coincidence? Or did Luo Xian truly know something? Li Xiao and Schwer exchanged nervous glances at Lin Shen. He gazed deeply at Luo Xian's nearly perfect profile on the screen and smiled faintly. Beneath the table, while Luo Xian spoke, he had already muted his spare phone and entered Luo Xian's live stream with a secondary account. He then initiated a report, typing rapidly. Report content. Driving while live streaming poses a danger. Click to send. Report successful. Thank you for your contribution to purifying the live streaming environment. We will address it promptly. Seeing this notification from the corner of his eye, Lin Shun felt a wave of relief wash over him. Chapter 338. The Young Couple in a Tiff. Lin Shun, I truly do not know her. After sending the report, Lin Shun raised his gaze and smiled. Sure, why not? Let us see whose marksmanship is superior. Luo Xian, keeping her eyes on the road, replied with a gentle smile. It's definitely you. You are the sharpshooter. Upon hearing this, the audience in both live streams erupted once more. What are these two talking about? Did they really not know each other before? I'm utterly confused. I can't stop laughing. I always thought Luo Xian was ethereal, but is she really like this in real life? I just want to know how Luo Xian knew Lin Shun was a sharpshooter. Has she seen him shoot before? Don't ask anymore. Just assume Luo Xian has pulled the trigger for Lin Shun. These two are undoubtedly matched rivals. I eagerly await their formal meeting and shooting at each other. Ha ha, look at smart sister. Her face has turned a shade of green. Li Xiao's expression indeed darkened, though not from jealousy. Rather, it was due to her overwhelming emotions. Shuer beside her felt similarly. They both sensed that Luo Xini was not here with good intentions. Lin Shun wore a smile on his face, yet his eyes betrayed a lack of genuine mirth. You truly excel at this, stabbing into the heart without a moment's hesitation. As he spoke, his fingers discreetly tapped beneath the table, once again reporting Luo Xian's livestream. Luo Xian's beautiful eyes curved slightly, hinting at a trace of amusement as she replied, Are you willing to let me stab you? Lin Shun displayed a look of helplessness. Can we refrain from mutual harm? Luo Xian glanced at her phone screen and said, All right then, let's see how you explain this. That's it, I'm hanging up. She then extended a slender finger and tapped the screen, ending the call. The barrage of comments in Lin Shen's livestream erupted in a frenzy. Oh my, is it just me, or do I sense a tragic love story? I seriously suspect these two know each other from before, and that Lin Shen has been wounded by Luo Xian. What a revelation. This must have happened before Lin Shen became a streamer. No wonder he is surrounded by beauties, but remains so timid. Luo Xian must have hurt him deeply. Lin Shun is impressive, having dated a gem like Luo Xian. It's no surprise he can't easily fall for anyone else. I just want to know, if Luo Xian dumped Lin Shun, why does she want him to explain? This couple is truly a thing. Lin Shun, confess honestly, did you forget protection that night? At Fomin headquarters, a bespectacled girl responsible for reviewing reports had just finished examining one when the next report popped up, causing her eyes to widen in astonishment. Reporter, Lin Shun, the great handsome one. This was none other than Lin Shun's well-known alter ego. Unable to resist, she took out her phone and opened Lin Shen's livestream, her eyes widening further. Indeed, Lin Shun was smiling as he interacted with Luo Xian. What in the world was happening? Just as she was taken aback, another report notification appeared. It was another report from Lin Shen's alter ego. Unsure of how to proceed, she followed previous special instructions regarding anything related to Lin Shun and quickly contacted Yang Dunhai. Meanwhile, Yang Dunhai was also seated at his computer, intently watching Lin Shun and Luo Xian's livestream. After all, one was the reigning king of traffic in the Fomin realm and a rising star in the music industry, while the other was a long-established yet elusive diva of the music scene. Their unprecedented collaboration was bound to create sparks. Indeed, on another screen displaying real-time traffic, as soon as Luo Xian expressed her deep admiration for Lin Shen's music, the viewership began to surge. By the time they started their connection, the traffic escalated at an almost 45-degree angle. Yang Dunhai couldn't help but marvel at this divine pairing. And when Luo Xian uttered that provocative phrase, he, munching popcorn at his computer, couldn't help but widen his eyes and exclaim, Wow, how long had Luo Xian been holding back to speak so directly? They were merely connecting online. If they were to meet in person, wouldn't it ignite a cataclysmic event? As Lin Shun and Luo Xian's exchange unfolded, Yang Dunhai's intrigue only deepened. The flames of gossip ignited within him. These two clearly had a story. His face blossomed into a smile. A narrative is splendid. A narrative leads to discussion. Discussion creates traffic. Continue. Don't stop. Just hurt each other. He mused. Just then, a phone call came through. He stared at the screen while answering, and within 5 seconds, his eyes nearly bulged out. One thought dominated his mind. What on earth is happening, Lin Ge? What transgressions had he committed against Luo Xian to appear so cowardly, even resorting to reporting her? Twice, no less. He was momentarily confounded. If it were anyone else, Lin Ji's word would be law. But this was Luo Xian. Moreover, streaming while driving wasn't particularly severe. Many at Fomin live streamed while driving 318 without facing repercussions. If Luo Xian were banned for this reason, her fans would undoubtedly erupt in outrage, accusing Fomin of double standards. After a brief pause, Yang Dunhai deemed it necessary to call Zhang Qianji for further guidance. The call connected swiftly. After hearing Yang Dunhai's brief account, Zhang Qianji, recalling his youthful romantic escapades, was flooded with nostalgic memories of captivating women. With a deep sigh, he firmly stated, "No need to ban her, they're just having a spat." Yang Dunhai immediately felt reassured. As he watched the connection end, Lin Chen glanced at his backup phone. Surprisingly, Luo Xian was still live streaming and had not been banned. An impulse to call Zhang Qianji surged within him. However, he reconsidered. There was no need to put Zhang in a difficult position. Whether or not a ban was imposed made little difference. Instead, he could monitor Luo Xian's livestream for updates. After this exchange of tentative dialogue, Lin Chen still failed to decipher the true intent behind Luo Xian's final words. She asked for an explanation, yet what could he, a mere pedestrian, possibly provide? Moreover, since Luo Xian was struck by lightning, if an explanation was in order, wouldn't it be more fitting to seek it from the heavens? Simultaneously, Lin Chen confirmed another fact. Luo Xian possessed her own intelligence network. Given that night's events, aside from Yi Xiaoxi, Song Zhuya, and brother Yuanhang, only a handful from the Nguesi were aware of his sharpshooting skills. The question arose, who could that person be? Yi Xiaoxi and Song Zhuya were unlikely to speak carelessly. Brother Yuanhang had repeatedly sought attention in the comments, which seemed unreliable. The Nguesi contingent could not be completely ruled out either. Perhaps old Zhong himself was the one referred to by Xiao Ji as the death interval. Furthermore, what was Luo Xian's intention in revealing such information? Was she brazenly betraying her teammates? This conundrum could only be unraveled upon meeting in person. Returning to reality, Lin Chen noticed Li Xiao and Xue Er gazing at him with peculiar expressions, as if he had been caught in the act of infidelity. He couldn't help but ask, "Why are you looking at me like that? I truly don't know her." Chapter 339. It's over. This time, it's truly a disaster. Li Xiao chuckled lightly. "We haven't said anything. It's you who seems anxious." Xue Er quickly nodded in agreement. Yes. We believe you. Is that all right?" The two exchanged glances before continuing their meal. Lin Chen was at a loss for words. Was he anxious? Not at all. And Xue Er, why was she meddling? What did is that all right even mean? The livestream comments erupted in laughter. Haha, Sister Tsongming has a point. Lin Chen, why are you so defensive? I'm dying of laughter. Xue Er's is that all right is so witty. Lin Chen, stop explaining. Focus on how to provide an explanation to Luo Xian. Haha, I've seen through it. Women are always contradictory, just like my girlfriend. When they don't want to, they want tea, but then they say, "Is that all right?" What does that even mean? I've noticed that adding "is that all right" to anything is truly hurtful, just like my wife who often says, "Is that all right?" when I'm actually fine. Exactly, women are complicated. I often tell her, "All right, I'll wear it." But it just makes everyone unhappy. With lightning speed, Lin Chen finished his meal and dashed outside to call brother Yuanhang. The call connected swiftly. Lin Chen inquired, "Yuanhang, how is your wound healing?" Brother Yuanhang's voice was filled with gratitude. "Lin Gu, you finally remembered me. Don't worry. I'm fine. The wound has scabbed over, and I can now walk with a cane. The doctor said I should be fully recovered in a month." Lin Chen cleared his throat and asked, "I need to know, have you mentioned the events of that night to anyone?" Yuanhang was momentarily taken aback and replied, "No. I returned home only after the surgery. Once back, I told my parents that I had accidentally slipped and been pricked by a tree branch. Given the sensitive nature of my injury, they had no reason to doubt me." Realizing something, he lowered his voice and said, "Lin, your call at this moment. Is it related to your earlier interaction with Luo Xian? Does she truly know about your firearm?" Lin Chen responded with a non-committal adding, "This individual is not to be underestimated. She may very well be a heartless femme fatale. From now on, steer clear of her. Should any unusual circumstances arise on your end, do not hesitate to contact me." Yuanhang let out an incredulous exclamation, his scalp tingling in disbelief. Once he regained his composure, he nervously declared, "I'll burn all the albums and posters of hers that I bought earlier." Lin Chen chuckled softly, "That won't be necessary. Just be vigilant from now on." Yuanhang quickly agreed, then hesitantly asked, "So, is Luo Xian really coming after you, intending to kill you, just like Huangqing?" Lin Chen scoffed. "If she dares to strike, it's uncertain who would prevail." A few seconds of silence ensued on Yuanhang's side, followed by a lamenting sigh. Such a beautiful girl. It would be a tremendous waste. He added, "Lin, remember to be gentle. Don't go for the headshot, if she is still warm." Without a word, Lin Chen abruptly ended the call. This was the extent of his ambition. He then sent a voice message to Yi Xiaoxi, who promptly answered. Her sultry voice echoed through the line. "What's up? Just rekindled an old flame, and now you're calling me? Or have you finally come to your senses and wish to confess your feelings before Luo Xian takes you out?" Lin Chen couldn't help but admire her perceptiveness. It was no surprise that she, with her astute mind, could deduce Luo Xian's intentions from the briefest of clues. He replied seriously, "I'm not joking. There are indeed issues with Luo Xian, though they may not be grave. I just wanted to ask if you've mentioned that night to anyone else." Yi Xiaoxi's tone turned earnest. "No, I haven't told anyone, not even my grandfather." Still uneasy, Lin Chen pressed. "You didn't jot down that night's events in your diary, did you?" Yi Xiaoxi gasped. After a brief pause, her voice, now laced with icy suspicion, replied, "How did you know I keep a diary? Have you been snooping on my phone?" Lin Chen felt as if struck by lightning. He had been so focused on finding the cause that he had forgotten this detail. Stunned, he nearly blurted out that it was Xiao Zhi's doing, but swallowed the words. Yi Xiaoxi's cool laughter resonated through the phone. "I found it curious back in Sichuan how you knew about my affairs with Li Xiao. You're quite the character. I never expected you to have such a penchant." Lin Chen felt perspiration bead on his forehead as he stammered, "Xiaoxi, let me explain." Yi Xiaoxi coolly interjected, "Go on. Keep making things up." After a few moments of silence, Lin Chen sighed in resignation. "I can't come up with anything more." Yi Xiaoxi chuckled, "Lin Chen, just you wait." With that, she hung up. Lin Chen held his phone, a sense of dread creeping over him. This was truly a disaster. Then he thought, what did it matter? Even if she was angry, what could she do? At that moment, Xiao Zhi chimed in. "Daddy, why don't you just say it was me?" Lin Chen forced a smile. "What difference does it make? She'll still think I coerced you into it." Xiao Zhi hesitated before saying, "Daddy, Yi Xiaoxi has already purchased her ticket to Sichuan." Lin Chen was taken aback. "What? Is this woman out of her mind? Is she planning to come to Sichuan to confront me over this trivial matter? Tickets don't come free, and does she plan to abandon her job?" He felt a surge of anxiety. Yi Xiaoxi was indeed a handful. He would rather face off against someone like Luo Xian than be scrutinized by her. There was a genuine fear that one day he might lose his composure and jeopardize his progress. Feeling overwhelmed, Xiao Zhi reassured him, "Daddy, don't worry. I saw her smiling when she purchased the ticket through her phone camera. She won't do anything to you. Based on my extensive experience from watching over 50,000 romance films and reading countless novels, all you need is a bold approach. And she'll be putty in your hands. Even if you're inexperienced, just follow my guidance step by step, and you'll appear like a seasoned pro." Lin Chen thought, "What the hell? I don't need to pretend to be a pro. I can handle this just fine." "Xiao Zhi, you better explain what movies you've been watching online. Are they legitimate or not?" Lin Chen sighed heavily. "You don't understand. Love requires mutual effort. Otherwise, it leads to poor outcomes, much like multiplying 0 by any number results in 0. Right now, I truly lack the time and energy to engage in a proper relationship. Xiaoxi is a wonderful woman, but I fear that in the end, I might not only waste her time, but also hurt her." Xiao Zhi fell silent for a few seconds before hesitantly asking, "So, Daddy, are you a 0? Chapter 340. Gu Xiyun has truly lost her mind. This is the grand scheme. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen felt a wave of frustration. He suspected Xiao Zhi was subtly mocking him, but had no evidence. Ironically, he had been the one to mention that multiplying 0 by any number equaled 0, so if interpreted that way, it wasn't entirely incorrect. There was no need to call Song Zhuya for confirmation. Given her background in the town security bureau and Lin Chen's understanding of her character, she was unlikely to spread rumors. Thus, it became evident that the issue lay with the Ingwa Bureau. From their earlier conversation, Lin Chen had also gleaned through his probing remarks that Pei Shanshan was likely killed by Luo Xian. This woman either displayed an audacious demeanor or was utterly fearless, exuding an air of arrogance. Lin Chen couldn't help but sigh internally. These women were all so troublesome, and Luo Xian was the epitome of trouble. Then it struck him that if Yuan Hang could figure this out, Yi Xiaoxi would undoubtedly connect the dots as well. Her sudden purchase of a ticket was likely not merely for revenge, but stemmed from concern for him, wanting to offer herself up as a sacrifice. Love can make one impulsive and blind. Xiaoxi had truly fallen into a pit of despair. Yet, it was hard to blame her. The fault lay with him, Lin Chen, for being handsome, youthful, wealthy, talented, and overwhelmingly charming, captivating all who crossed his path. Shaking his head, Lin Chen returned to the inn. Upon finding Li Xiao and Shuer had finished their meals, he promptly settled the bill, tidied up, and continued on his way. As he glanced at the live stream, he was shocked to discover that after just a brief interaction, he had inexplicably lost over 20 million viewers. He was momentarily stunned. Then it struck him as he realized. Had he been overshadowed? He discreetly checked Luo Xian's live stream on a spare phone. Remarkably, within half an hour of starting, she had amassed over 30 million viewers, an impressive feat. Luo Xian was simply driving and humming a tune. Yet countless viewers adorned with his fan badges flooded the chat with comments like, Luo Xian is so beautiful, and her voice is heavenly. It was a horde of fickle admirers. Lin Chen felt a strong sense of urgency. He had always been the one to draw others' attention, but now, he was the one being overshadowed by Luo Xian. Was this a threat to his very existence? Without hesitation, he picked up his guitar and, forgoing any new songs, began singing his classic hits. Instantly, the once dwindling audience surged back, reclaiming over 1 million viewers. After belting out 7 or 8 songs, a comment suddenly appeared in the chat. What the hell? Gu Xiyun issued an apology to Lin Chen via his social media account and even recorded a video. The moment this announcement surfaced, it ignited a sensation. Over the years, Gu Xiyun has confronted many individuals, even when his words were inappropriate. He typically deleted his posts rather than yielding to anyone. What prompted such a drastic measure this time? The fact that he recorded a video to apologize was astonishing. Countless spectators flocked to his social media account. Soon, the comments section of Lin Chen's livestream exploded. Ha ha ha, Gu Xiyun apologizes, but why does he have a black eye? Did he get beat up? The way Gu Xiyun looks in the video is hilarious. He seems so submissive, as if someone has a knife at his throat. Goodness. No wonder Lin Chen was always on the phone. He must have been arranging this for Gu Xiyun. It's certain that Lin Chen has some connections. I just wonder if he has someone behind him or someone beneath him. After finishing a song, Lin Chen took out his spare phone and logged onto his social media to take a glance. Indeed, Gu Xiyun had apologized. It was unclear what he had been through. His hair was damp, and his left eye bore a significant bruise, clearly indicating he had been beaten. His apology seemed sincere, confessing that jealousy had prompted him to post that comment and formally retracting his disparagement of Lin Chen as a mere amateur. He earnestly sought forgiveness and even bowed deeply at the end. After watching the video, Lin Chen looked up at the livestream. Just as he was about to speak, Gu Xiyun sent 500 carnival gifts. Gu Xiyun exclaimed, Lin Chen, I was wrong. Please forgive me. The same comment flooded the chat 3 times in succession. Lin Chen smiled lightly. There's nothing to forgive. Just be more cautious with your words and actions in the future. Meanwhile, in the capital, Gu Xiyun glanced nervously at the middle-aged man beside him and said, Dad, he has said this. It should be enough, right? The man frowned and replied sternly, Send 2,000 more. Gu Xiyun's eyes widened in disbelief. Dad, who is he? Just because of that one post, we need to send him almost 7 million? Our family's money doesn't come easily. The man's eyes twitched, and he slapped Gu Xiyun's head sharply. You know that my money doesn't come easily. Do you understand that trouble comes from your own words? Don't ask what you shouldn't. Just do as I say. Gu Xiyun shivered and quickly sent more gifts. Gu Xiyun sent 1,000 carnival gifts. Gu Xiyun said, Thank you for your guidance, Lin Chen. I will remember this and never make the same mistake again. The moment the gift notification appeared, the comments in Lin Chen's livestream erupted once more. What the heck? Is Gu Xiyun going crazy? How terrified is Gu Xiyun of Lin Chen to send so much after a video? If you've been kidnapped, just send an emoji. Goodness, this is too exaggerated. If someone said Gu Xiyun was being held at gunpoint, I would believe it. Countless viewers found Gu Xiyun's behavior incomprehensible. His demeanor was excessively humble. Lin Chen also found Gu Xiyun's conduct rather peculiar. At that moment, his spare phone rang. Upon checking, it was an unfamiliar number. A thought crossed his mind, and he asked Xiao Ji to mute the livestream before answering the call. On the other end was a man's voice filled with regret. Hello, Mr. Lin. I am Gu Xiyun's father, Gu Zhang, the chairman of Guandi Automobile Factory. My son has acted inappropriately by posting that comment, and I have severely reprimanded him after learning of this incident. I hope you will not take offense. Lin Chen immediately understood. Guandi Automobile Factory stands out in the field of new energy technology and is at the forefront internationally. It was among the companies proposed for investment by the Quafu Group. As the chairman, Gu Zhang certainly understood his company's important position within Quafu Group. If Gu Xiyun's personal behavior were to jeopardize the collaboration between Quafu Group and Guandi, it would be far more significant than merely sending several million in gifts during a live stream. Lin Chen replied, Mr. Gu, you are being overly polite. It's just a minor issue. I am not one to hold grudges. Moreover, this incident reveals that you are a trustworthy partner, which makes me even more eager for future collaborations between Quafu Group and Guandi. On the other end, Gu Zhang sensed the implication. Lin Chen was discreet enough not to disclose anything about Quafu Group, even to his family. Otherwise, Gu Xiyun would not have recklessly mocked Lin Chen as an amateur. This was indeed a pleasant exchange, and Gu Zhang couldn't help but feel appreciative of Lin Chen's perspective. In contrast, he lamented about his own son, wishing he had been wrapped in toilet paper and flushed down the toilet at birth. After a few more polite exchanges, Gu Zhang ended the call, deliberately avoiding mentioning his daughter, who had been reassigned from an urgent task in Sichuan due to Gu Xiyun's actions. Lin Shen saved Gu Zhang's number and returned to the live stream, unmuting it. Noticing the comments speculating about the identity of the caller, some suggested it was Gu Xiyun himself, while others speculated about mysterious forces behind Lin Shen. Lin Shen chuckled softly. Everyone, there's no need for wild guesses. It was merely a business partner. As for Gu Xiyun, let us show some mercy in our comments. His attitude is quite sincere. Everyone makes mistakes, and acknowledging one's faults is a sign of a good person. The comments immediately erupted. Goodness, even a business partner came out. Could it be Aldrin calling? I almost forgot. Lin Shen, whom did you end up collaborating with? Gu Xiyun is nearly 25 and still a child? But since Lin Shen has said so, let us let it go. What does sincerity matter? Just because one is sincere does not mean they deserve forgiveness. I always sincerely tell my wife when I'm not in the mood, yet she never forgives me. Indeed, attitude doesn't represent everything. I once even knelt down to someone, yet they still didn't believe I was just fixing a pipe and ended up beating me. People nowadays are too harsh. Haven't you ever made mistakes? My girlfriend cheated with her best friend, and I didn't say anything. I even let her bring her friend to live with us, and now both are pregnant. What else can I do but earn more to support the family? With the mention of Gu Xiyun fading, Lin Shen and his companions continued onward. The official endorsement of the five-star group by the government of the colorful flag nation continued to stir discussions online. The Yin Shirue father-son duo faced repercussions, and Gu Xiyun's capitulation did not deter all those with ulterior motives. Occasionally, messages surfaced in the live stream. Holy crap, the fraudbuster Lu Hai has also jumped in, posting a lengthy article claiming he will expose Lin Shen. Wu Keida has also published an article on the headlines, alleging that Lin Shen's livestream phone is a carefully crafted new type of scam, deliberately showcasing pseudo-advanced technology to swindle investors. Professor Wei Yuan from the physics department at Nanfeng University has publicly questioned the battery life of Lin Shen's livestream phone, claiming it contradicts basic physical principles. Everyone, good or bad, was putting on a show. As time passed, the superficial wave of anti-amateur and anti-pseudoscience sentiment escalated. While the official statement from the colorful flag nation did not mention Lin Shen, the majority of the criticism was now directed squarely at him. At this moment, Lin Shen found himself facing adversaries from all corners of the internet. The consequence of this was that the traffic on Fengyin exploded once more. Countless onlookers, eager for the spectacle, registered on Fengyin and flooded into Lin Shen's livestream. Even with some of the traffic divided with Luo Xian, the popularity surged to over 150 million. Among them, many were quick to hurl insults. Lin Shen remained calm, merely instructing Xiao Ji to mute the haters. He understood that most of these individuals were not malicious. They were simply misled by the sensationalist narrative and mistakenly believed they were on the side of justice without knowing the truth. It is utterly futile to engage in disputes with them. There is no need for justification, for these individuals have already formed their biased opinions. Any attempt at clarification will merely be perceived as a feeble excuse. Lin Shen is simply biding his time. This matter transcends his singular involvement. It cannot be pacified by his mere words. In response to the baseless slanders from Saichi Nation and the five-star group, the authorities will undoubtedly take action. Nevertheless, in his heart, Lin Shen has diligently noted the names Lu Hai and Wu Keida. These individuals are devoid of merit. As long as they do not meet their demise, he shall continue to curse them profusely. Meanwhile, he has instructed Xiao Ji to gather all pertinent evidence. Suddenly, a barrage of comments erupted. What the hell? Mango Factory has also issued a statement, accusing Lin Shen of using Siri's source code for their smart AI. The chatroom, already abuzz, was set ablaze. I want to curse. Can Xiaoji not silence me? Even if I am muted, I must say, Mango Factory, you stole my mother's dignity. How shameless. James was once eagerly presenting contracts to Lin Shen for collaboration, and now they claim Lin Shen has stolen Siri's code? Mango Factory has played their cards well. They throw mud first, and if Lin Shen wishes to clear his name, he must reveal Xiaoji's source code, thereby allowing their scheme to succeed. What a joke. I am a Mango phone user, and Xiaoji is clearly superior to Siri. How dare they claim Lin Shen has stolen Siri's code? Simultaneously, numerous loyalists of Mango Factory and unidentified online trolls began to accuse Lin Shen of shamelessness, demanding he reveal the code to prove his innocence. Upon witnessing the chaotic barrage of comments, Lin Shen couldn't help but chuckle in disbelief. Mango Factory's antics are truly outlandish. President Gadulika remains hospitalized, yet they continue to spew defamatory remarks. He quietly inquired of Xiao Ji, "Are you aware of this situation?" Xiaoji responded, yes, after Gadulika's incident. Vice President Alvin assumed temporary authority. Following the announcement from Saichi Nation, he convened a board meeting and ultimately decided to cooperate with the official response. Hearing this, Lin Chen felt a sense of reassurance. However, he had no intention of releasing evidence just yet. Instead, he declared, Xiaoji, ban all those demanding I disclose the code. At his command, a flurry of notifications appeared on the screen, indicating countless IDs had been banned, the speed so rapid that the crimson alerts blurred together. The chatroom was significantly cleared. Lin Chen then remarked coolly, those insisting on code disclosure are either foolish or malicious. You wish for proof? Here it is. One day, let Siri also possess the capability to silence all of you with a simple command before you dare speak of code theft. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen's fans erupted in delight. Ha ha ha, Lin Chen speaks the truth. Some individuals are both foolish and wicked. Just ban them. A group of brainless fools. Siri isn't even worthy to carry Xiaoji's shoes. The saddest part is that these people are being used as pawns, completely unaware. In a flash, an avalanche of gifts flooded the screen, with countless viewers expressing their support and trust in Lin Chen. After stating his piece, he chose not to revisit the topic. Those whose IDs had been banned in reality were infuriated, reporting Lin Chen for alleged insults. However, their efforts proved futile. Many switched accounts, attempting to hurl insults once more, only to find their accounts banned before their messages could even appear in the chat. This phenomenon left them suspicious, wondering if the issue lay with Fengyin or their own devices. This situation persisted for over half an hour until a news report suddenly went viral across the internet. The Foreign Affairs Office of Tang Nation made a statement. In a routine press conference, a spokesperson provided a clear answer to a question posed by an overseas journalist. In ancient Tang, there existed a crime known as fabricated accusations, which pertains to penalizing others with non-existent transgressions. In modern times, Saichi Nation has evidently taken this to an even greater extreme, as the international community has observed. In response to Saichi Nation's declaration of intent to impose sanctions on certain enterprises and individuals in our country under the guise of protecting intellectual property, we find it beneath us to comment. However, should Saichi Nation proceed with these sanctions, we declare that there will be no retreat on our part, and we will respond accordingly. Furthermore, I have just heard that Mango Factory has accused a distinguished young individual from our country of having stolen Siri's code. I must clarify that this eminent youth is currently the youngest academician in our nation's high-tech institute. He is also the largest individual shareholder of the Kwafu Group, which was established with the core technologies he independently developed, backed by the government and several top-tier enterprises. I advised Saichi Nation and the relevant companies to focus less on the morsels in others' bowls and more on how to cultivate their own fields. This brief video, lasting less than a minute, rapidly spread across Tang Nation's networks. The first reaction from countless observers upon viewing the video was disbelief. The initial segment seemed like a standard response. However, the latter part addressing Mango Factory was laden with significant implications. As a result, within 10 minutes of the video's release, Lin Chen and the Kwafu Group, along with the title of Tang Nation's youngest academician, surged to the top of social media trends, captivating the attention of many. Those previously indifferent began searching for keywords related to Lin Chen and the Kwafu Group. However, the search results for Lin Chen revealed a plethora of disparaging commentary from various media outlets. Earlier discussions revolved around his dealings with GS Sun Group and other scandals, followed by various gossip about Li Xiao and Yi Xiaoxi. As for the Kwafu Group, the only information available was a recently updated registration detail. Kwafu Group Company, Limited. Legal representative, Lin Chen, registered capital, 10 billion. The equity structure revealed that the High-Tech Institute held 51 of the shares, while Lin Chen personally retained 36. The remaining shares were purchased by 10 entities, including Ju Factory and Guandi Automobile Factory. After absorbing this information, many were left in awe. Who would dare to believe that a mere live-streaming host could attain such heights? The shareholding proportions clearly indicated that, as the Foreign Affairs Office stated, the Kwafu Group was entirely designed around Lin Chen, and significant investments had been made. Simultaneously, numerous influential figures and media personalities who had previously lambasted Lin Chen felt a chilling realization upon seeing the news. Something monumental was about to unfold. Subsequently, an overwhelming surge of traffic inundated Lin Chen's live stream. Fortunately, Fengyin acted swiftly, urgently reallocating server resources to expand the bandwidth of Lin Chen's stream. Otherwise, the broadcast would have suffered catastrophic disruptions. What the hell? The youngest academician of the High-Tech Institute, the largest individual shareholder of the Kwafu Group, Lin Chen, How can you claim you lack martial prowess? My scalp is tingling. Lin Shun has been so tight-lipped about such significant matters until now. I was naive to think Lin Shun would choose Ju Factory. I never imagined he would collaborate directly with the government. Laughter echoed as I had anticipated this all along. With such remarkable technology, how could the authorities refrain from intervening? The mystery is solved. No wonder Lin has the authority to send anyone he desires into the fray. It turns out his backing is from the officials. Lin is truly impressive, with the public relations department backing him. I wonder who in the entire streaming industry stands a chance against him? The likes of Lu Hai and Wu Keida are utterly finished. They must be trembling in fear right now. As Lin Shun observed the incessant barrage of comments in the live stream, he was momentarily taken aback. He had thought that even if the higher-ups decided to support him, a simple press release would suffice to dispel any rumors. To his surprise, they chose to make a substantial statement through the public relations department, not only reprimanding the colorful Flag Nation and Mango Factory, but also revealing his connections. With a resigned smile, he spread his arms wide. The cards are on the table, no more pretense. I am grateful for the honor bestowed upon me by the Academy of High Technology, which has allowed me to collaborate with them and take a small stake in the Kwafu Group through a technical investment. However, that is neither here nor there. My primary role remains that of a humble streamer, just as it has always been. Please, do not feel pity for me just because my wealth has surged. When you wish to support, do not hold back. The last part, of course, was a jest. As he spoke, the live stream's comments exploded with excitement. Lin is far too modest, holding 36% of the shares, and he dares to call it a small stake? Clearly, he is a major shareholder. Greetings, esteemed major shareholder. When will the Kwafu Group go public? I wish to invest alongside you. No need to send gifts anymore. This man will undoubtedly surpass 100 billion in wealth and will look down upon our trifles. Such dedication from Lin, even after achieving this. He still chooses to be a streamer. For that, I must support him today. Goodness, if I had Lin's wealth, I would buy an island, hire 3,000 models, and enjoy myself to the fullest, letting them cater to my whims. Lin exemplifies the true essence of life. Existence is finite, and time is fleeting. Reading thousands of books pales in comparison to traversing myriad paths. I too have come to this realization only after entering a relationship. What good are all those learning materials? The real enlightenment comes from practice. Don't lose hope. We are all in the same boat. In the presence of those we love, joyful moments always seem fleeting. Yet my past girlfriends never believed me. Red envelopes. Red envelopes. Meanwhile, Li Xiao and Shui Er, witnessing the comments, began to engage with their phones. When they turned their gazes towards Lin Shun, their eyes sparkled with astonishment. Li Xiao could not resist stepping closer to Lin, examining him with a penetrating gaze. Feeling somewhat uneasy under her scrutiny, Lin took a couple of steps back and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" With a charming smile, Li Xiao replied, "I merely wish to see if you are still the Lin Shun I once knew, and how much more you might possess within you." Chapter 343, Lin Chen's Dominance. Reactions from all sides. Lin Chen pondered for a moment before responding, "I am certainly not the same person I was 4 years ago. People grow. Perhaps I am what they call a late bloomer. The extent of my capabilities is not what matters. Rather, it is who will ultimately benefit from them, excluding the Mango Factory and the colorful Flag Nation." At this point, he addressed the audience in the live stream. "You all should recall that I previously stated that any patents I invent will not be involved in any form of collaboration with individuals or enterprises from the colorful Flag Nation. Products related to my patents will absolutely not be sold to the colorful Flag Nation. This statement remains valid, and I must also add the Mida Nation to that list. This reflects not only my personal stance, but also significantly represents the position of the Kwafu Group. Since the authorities have already acknowledged the existence of the Kwafu Group, I will succinctly elaborate. In the short term, the Kwafu Group will apply my invented technology to sectors such as renewable energy, intelligent AI, smartphone manufacturing, automotive production, and drones. The renewable energy component involves the battery technology one utilized in the live streaming phone. The specifics of the principle will remain confidential for now. In any case, it will undeniably have a revolutionary impact on both traditional and renewable energy markets. Stay tuned. I hereby declare that the Kwafu Group will self-impose sanctions. Batteries produced by the Kwafu Group will not appear in any products made by enterprises in the colorful Flag Nation or the Mida Nation. Should any foreign companies attempt to resell these batteries to either nation, they too will be placed on a blacklist. Upon uttering these words, the comments exploded once more. Holy cow. Lin, is what you said true? This is too intense. Self-sanctioning. Lin intends to establish a blockade against the colorful Flag Nation and the Mida Nation with these new batteries. Everyone has witnessed the prowess of Xiaoji's batteries. If they can indeed be mass-produced, it will be a revolutionary breakthrough, particularly in the smartphone and new energy vehicle sectors. The prices of oil and coal will surely plummet. The main energy group must be in a panic. They made a fortune selling electric vehicles in the Tang Nation, but without an energy advantage, their sales will undoubtedly plummet. Thanks for the heads up. I suspect Lin's statement will lead to a significant drop in the stocks of the main energy group tonight. The 5-star phone is finished. While other phones can last 10 days to 2 weeks, theirs still requires daily charging. Who will buy that? The colorful flag nation has been using chips to choke us. Now it's our turn to retaliate. Countless viewers from the Tang Nation were filled with enthusiasm. Despite the rapid development of the Tang Nation over the past few decades, the feeling of being stifled in high-tech sectors like chips was exceedingly frustrating. Each time they saw related news, many felt a deep sense of repression. Now, the Tang Nation finally possesses a formidable weapon. In the age of energy, whoever masters groundbreaking energy technology holds the key to economic lifeblood. In contrast, chips seem trivial. As long as they function adequately, they suffice. The pivotal question remains, can Lin Chen's new battery truly deliver on its remarkable promises? However, given that the authorities have boldly invested billions to establish the Quafu Group around Lin, there must be substantial confidence in his technology. The future is indeed promising. In stark contrast to the enthusiastic audience in the live stream, foreign personnel or spies lurking within, as well as representatives from various mobile and automotive enterprises, felt a jolt of anxiety. This could lead to serious repercussions, particularly for major smartphone manufacturers and automotive companies in the Tang Nation, many of whom have had to bow to the colorful flag nation due to chip dependencies. Now, with the advent of the new battery, these manufacturers face a dilemma. Should they prioritize chips or batteries? Choosing batteries would inevitably offend the colorful flag nation, resulting in products that could only be withdrawn from both the colorful flag nation and the Meta Nation markets. Conversely, opting for chips would allow manufacturers like Ju Factory to produce products with exceptionally strong battery life, thus overshadowing their own offerings in terms of value, leading to a significant decline in sales. At the Mi Factory headquarters, Lei Xinghao stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, holding his phone, reflecting on the complex emotions that surfaced as he listened to his subordinate's report. From the moment he arrived at Old Capitol Bridge and witnessed Lin Chen's live-streaming phone, he knew this day would eventually arrive. However, he did not expect it to come so soon. Nor did he anticipate Lin's audacity to make such bold statements so early on, effectively severing ties with the colorful flag nation and the Meta Nation markets. Soon after, a smile crept onto Lei Xinghao's face. To outsiders, it might seem that Mi Factory faced a tough decision. However, was there really a choice to be made? Given the issues surrounding chips, he and Mi Factory had already garnered their share of criticism. However, for a business to thrive, survival must come first. He was not wrong. Nor was the rice factory at fault. The higher-ups understood this. Yet, it does not imply that Lei Xinghao did not harbor a sense of indignation. Who would willingly play the subordinate when they could be the patriarch? He had awaited this day for quite some time. When the moment for transformation arrived, hesitation was not an option. Still, there was no rush to declare his position. He would wait until the products from the Quafu Group were unveiled. Upon receiving the news, Zhong Wenzhou could not help but chuckle softly. The Public Relations Department, under pressure, had to stand by Lin Chun during this critical time and reveal the existence of the Quafu Group. However, as of now, only the site selection and registration had been completed, along with the identification of senior personnel. The formal processes had yet to be finalized. In other words, the Quafu Group, in the strictest sense, was entirely under Lin Chen's control. Based on his understanding of Lin Chun, this young man likely capitalized on this very fact to make such a pivotal and somewhat audacious decision on behalf of the Quafu Group during the live broadcast. Otherwise, a decision of such magnitude would typically necessitate extensive discussion and meetings before any public announcement. Nonetheless, Zhong Wenzhou had to concede that Lin Chen's approach, while potentially diminishing the Quafu Group's profits, undeniably ignited a sense of pride and fervor among the people of Tanghua, himself included. It established a sense of integrity for the Quafu Group right from its inception, showcasing the essence of the enterprise to all. After Lin Chen expressed his stance, he refrained from further discussion on the matter. It was a minor issue, not worth reiterating. The trio continued on their way. In the live broadcast, discussions remained fervent. Occasionally, someone would relay news about which prominent individual was offering a heartfelt apology. This included the notorious Lu Hai, Song Ke, and Professor Wei Yuan from the physics department of Nanfeng University. Lin Chen could hardly be bothered to comment on them. Besides them, a multitude of public intellectuals, including Yin Shirue, were equally tainted. Relevant evidence had been compiled into a document by Xiao Ji. Lin Chen could not even be bothered to call Zhong Wenzhou. Instead, he sent a message stating his intent to report and directly forwarded the document to the email. He also resolved to purchase a new phone upon arriving in Badong County. The evidence was simply too abundant, and his current device lacked the memory to store it all. As they walked, Xiao Ji's voice suddenly broke through. Dad. The people from Caiji country are anxious and are determined to bring you to Caiji country. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen raised an eyebrow and promptly inquired. What about the Wuxing group? Xiao Ji replied. Zhang Xiangnan was enraged upon hearing the news and has sent 3 actresses from Madagwo to contract AIDS. Lin Chen. Chapter 344. Advanced Curse of Misfortune. Lin Chen has started bleeding from his nose again. Even when standing on opposing sides, Lin Chen could not help but feel that Zhang Xiangnan was somewhat impressive. Setting aside everything else, transforming anger into such actions was not something just anyone could accomplish. It also underscored the tragic plight of actresses in Madagwo. When faced with overwhelming capital, they could only leap into the abyss, fully aware of the dire consequences awaiting them. Having walked for so long, aside from the human trafficking syndicate, this individual was the most deserving of condemnation. He immediately asked, "What is Zhang Xiangnan doing now?" Xiao Ji replied, "The driver is currently taking him to a meeting at the Wuxing Group headquarters, and just 2 minutes ago, he entered your live broadcast, cursing out loud about various things. Dad, do you want me to translate for you?" Lin Chen's face darkened. No need. Although he had not formally studied the Madagwo language, he had watched dramas from Madagwo and understood that Shiba meant trough, Kaisage was an insult, and Zagala meant go die. Considering he was the current head of the Wuxing Group, where was the culture? Where was the upbringing? The mere thought of him cursing Lin Chen only fueled his anger. In his heart, he muttered to the system, "Upgrade my curse of misfortune to an advanced level." The system responded, "This upgrade requires the expenditure of 5 million popularity points. Please confirm if you wish to proceed." Lin Chen was taken aback. He nearly gasped in disbelief. Initially, the basic curse of misfortune cost only 500,000 popularity points, and upgrading to the intermediate level required 1 million. Yet now, an upgrade to the advanced level demanded a staggering 5 million? The system's capacity for extortion remained as formidable as ever. Lin Chen suspected that the system was aware of his current wealth of over 160 million popularity points, emboldening it to make such a bold demand. Gritting his teeth, he finally resolved, "Confirm upgrade." The system announced, "Upgrading to advanced curse of misfortune successful." Note 1. If the host casts the advanced curse on a fixed target for over 10 minutes, there is a certain probability that it will lead to the target's demise. Note 2. The host can set the curse's contents while casting the advanced curse, and the realization of the curse depends on the difficulty established by the host and the specific environment of the target. Lin Chen's eyes gleamed with intrigue. The last time he cursed Luo Xiani to be struck by lightning, he discovered that the curse could indeed lead to death. Now, this upgrade had directly integrated death into its capabilities, quantifying the duration of the curse, truly a method of killing without a trace. Note 2 was particularly intriguing. Previously, the intermediate curse of misfortune could not predict the specific misfortunes that would befall the target. It was left to fate. Now, with the upgrade, if he cursed someone to choke while drinking water, that person would likely choke when they attempted to drink. The practicality had significantly increased. Initially, Lin Chen felt that expending 5 million popularity points for this upgrade was excessive. However, it now seemed to balance out somewhat. He could not help but reflect on how fortunate it was that he possessed this ability. Otherwise, if it fell into the hands of a nefarious individual, the world might witness the emergence of another figure eager to create a new order. He then began to fervently curse Zhang Xiangnan. Zhang Xiangnan, may you be half paralyzed and leave no descendants. He repeated this mantra, amplifying his intent. You, Zhang Xiangnan, enjoy playing, so let me eradicate you completely. Await the day AIDS consumes your life. This could also serve as a measure of justice for the girls you have harmed. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Lin Chen felt his mental energy depleting rapidly, nearly twice as much as when he used the intermediate curse. Determined to ensure Zhang Xiangnan's demise, he gritted his teeth and persisted. Suddenly, blood streamed from his nostrils. Beside him, Shuer exclaimed in alarm, "Chen Chen, you're bleeding again." Li Xiao, walking ahead, quickly turned around, her expression pale. The 2 women hurried to find tissues. Lin Chen pinched his nose and waved his hand dismissively. The live broadcast chat, which had been fervently discussing various public figures, erupted at this sight. What the heck? Lin Chen is bleeding again. What's wrong with Lin Chen? Why is he so fired up? This isn't just a nosebleed. It's like a fountain. The mystery is solved. The previous 2 times could be attributed to dry air. But this time, I can clearly see that Lin Chun is bleeding because he is staring at Sister Smart's back. Lin Chun has great taste. While Sister Smart may not compare to Sister Songshi, I firmly believe she can become Lin Chun's most powerful support. I'm dying of laughter. Only Lin Chun could make even a nosebleed seem so characteristic. I'm convinced Lin Chun must have caught some silver virus from the dramas. I beg Sister Smart and Schwer to save him. If this continues, he will surely explode from internal pressure. Have a son. Have a son. Countless viewers laughed uncontrollably. Many quickly edited and shared clips of Lin Chun bleeding while staring at Li Xiao, with an avalanche of comments like, "What the heck? This is too exaggerated. And are we sure this isn't special effects?" Lin Chun felt he had let his guard down, getting so caught up in cursing that he completely forgot about this. Pinching his nose was merely a pretense. With a mere thought, he exerted absolute control, causing the capillaries within his nasal cavity to constrict instantly, halting the flow of blood. He then took the tissue offered by Schwer to wipe away the remnants. Noticing the concern in the eyes of the 2 women, Lin Chun reassured them, "It's nothing serious. The weather is dry, and a little bleeding is quite normal." Li Xiao opened her mouth, unable to restrain herself, but this is happening far too often. Perhaps when we reach Badong, we should visit a hospital for a checkup. Schwer, her complexion slightly pale, added, "Indeed, that's the 3rd time now, once with Shi Shaoshan, once at the Old City Bridge, and now this. Especially this time, it was truly alarming. The way it spurted, I've only seen that in comics." Lin Chun chuckled softly. There's no need for such alarm. In fact, a little bloodletting can be beneficial for the body. Isn't there a practice of bloodletting for therapeutic purposes? I know my body well, and I feel perfectly fine. The 2 women exchanged skeptical glances, and the comments section erupted in discussion. Haha, I've only seen such things in comics. No wonder it looks so familiar. Lin Chun is right. A little blood doesn't mean much. Every time I invite my girlfriend out and suggest she stay over, she claims her distant relatives are visiting. Yet she seems perfectly healthy. If it comes to it, doesn't Schwer have brown sugar? A couple of cups of that will surely replenish him. Honestly, bloodletting therapy does work wonders. I often assist others with it, but one must find the right spots. After massaging, the blood flows. And then the body gradually feels at ease. Chapter 345. The Power of the Advanced Curse of Misfortune. Arriving at Badong County, Mita Country. Inside a luxurious black stretch limousine. A man clad in a suit but appearing somewhat haggard sat in the back seat, his expression fierce, his mouth incessantly muttering. This was Zheng Xiaonan, the current head of the Wuxing Group. Despite the exposure of his AIDS diagnosis, as the only surviving male heir of the Zheng family, his position remained unshaken. However, Zheng Xiaonan had just received news that some elders within the group were secretly liaising with his half-sister, Zheng Peina. This was the true source of his agitation. Zheng Xiaonan vowed fiercely to himself, "So what if I have this affliction? As long as I manage it well, I can still live a long life. These old fools are just waiting for me to die, so they can elevate the more controllable Zheng Peina. And Zheng Peina, I truly underestimated you. Appearing so indifferent to worldly matters, yet you must have leaked my illness." As Zheng Xiaonan indulged in his thoughts, the limousine came to a halt. The voice of his secretary and driver broke through. "Boss, we have arrived at the headquarters." Zheng Xiaonan acknowledged with a grunt, regaining his composure and glancing out the window. Outside, a crowd of mid to senior level executives from the Wuxing Group stood in formation, and a man was hastening over to open the door for him. Zheng Xiaonan promptly tapped the onboard tablet. "Have the company send her as a spokesperson, bring her to Mita Country and arrange everything." The bespectacled secretary glanced at the screen and replied calmly, "Understood, boss." He had performed such tasks countless times before and remained unfazed. Zheng Xiaonan was about to unbuckle his seatbelt, ready to exit the vehicle, when an unexpected event occurred. High atop the nearly 300-meter-tall Wuxing Group headquarters, a sudden gust of wind caused a massive illuminated sign to lose one of its characters, plummeting downwards. Unaware, Zheng Xiaonan stepped out of the luxurious vehicle as the lined-up executives bowed in unison. Then, with a thunderous crash, the fallen character struck Zheng Xiaonan, landing squarely on his lower back. Blood rapidly spread across the ground. Both the executives and Zheng Xiaonan were left in shock. It was only when excruciating pain surged through him that Zheng Xiaonan let out a desperate scream. "Ah, my leg." After cleaning the blood from his nose, Lin Chun and the others set off once more. Minutes later, Lin Chun heard Xiao Zhi's voice in his ear. "Dad, something has happened to Zheng Xiaonan." Lin Chun instantly perked up. "I bled from my nose. It was bound to happen." Xiao Zhi continued. Just now, when Zheng Xiangnan's car stopped at the headquarters, a character from the sign above fell and struck him. Initial assessments from the surveillance indicated he suffered multiple fractures in his spine and pelvis. He likely won't stand again. Lin Chen gasped in astonishment. The advanced curse of misfortune was indeed terrifying. Just under 10 minutes had passed, and such calamity had already befallen him. If it continued for a full 10 minutes, the impact might have targeted his head instead, given that his pelvis was shattered. Other parts would surely be in ruins as well. This suited Lin Chen just fine. He had no intention of ending Zheng Xiangnan's life. For someone like him, living in such a manner would be the ultimate punishment. He then quietly inquired, "What about the task I assigned you last time?" Xiaoji paused before responding, "Dad, you doubt my capabilities? The Wuxing Group has been a thorn in your side. A 60% failure rate is far too lenient. From last night until now, I've rendered over 20% of the critical production machinery across more than 100 companies under the Wuxing Group globally inoperable. Zheng Xiangnan's recent meeting at the headquarters was partly due to this. I intend to take my time, striking methodically so they truly feel the pain. Currently, the information was still under wraps by the Wuxing Group, but I've registered thousands of accounts and can disseminate news worldwide at any moment. When that happens, it will be our opportunity to short sell and profit." Upon hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes widened. He believed he was ruthless, yet Xiao Ji was even more so. Was he truly preparing a comprehensive assault against the Wuxing Group? If it came to fruition, the entire economy of Mida country would suffer a grave blow. Nonetheless, it was time for Mida country to learn a lesson after years of audaciousness. Lin Chen tacitly approved of Xiao Ji's approach and said nothing further. For the next couple of hours, Lin Chen and his companions continued their journey. The online realm remains vibrant and bustling, with an emerging sentiment that everyone owes Lin Chen an apology. Platforms such as Daily Headlines and other social media outlets witness a remarkable surge in views and comments whenever Lin Chen's name is mentioned. Numerous individuals claiming to be Lin Chen's classmates from elementary and middle school have surfaced, sharing their recollections of him, which has indeed captivated a segment of researchers. Xiaoji occasionally provides updates regarding Zheng Xiangnan's situation. Ultimately, it took the combined effort of 5 or 6 firefighters to remove the large character from Zheng Xiangnan's body. A macabre scene unfolded, with blood mingling with yolk and egg white, transforming three-dimensional realities into a two-dimensional canvas. Zheng Xiangnan continued to utter expletives, lamenting as he was transported to the same hospital as his family for urgent care. This news swiftly traversed international borders back to Tang country, inciting a sensation. Lin Chen's livestream subsequently erupted with fervor. Goodness, Zheng Xiangnan must have done something terribly wrong. First, he is diagnosed with AIDS, and now he has been rendered paralyzed. This is a complete disaster. The 5-star group truly is beleaguered. In just a few days, they changed leaders 3 times. Wait, upon reflection, the leadership changes in the 5-star group began after Lin Chen's phone was stolen by spies from Mida country. This is a chilling thought. Is Lin Chen's influence so potent that it reaches overseas? This is what we call poetic justice. This incident teaches us that one must live honorably and refrain from coveting others' possessions. My girlfriend was once taken from me. Later, I heard she suffered from domestic abuse, which oddly relieved me. Fellow commenter, indeed, in this era, women can be unreliable. My girlfriend was also taken. She cried uncontrollably at night, while my wife had already prepared my bed when I returned home, which somewhat lifted my spirits. Regarding this affair, Lin Chen chose to remain silent. Zheng Xiangnan was already in a dire state. There was no need to add insult to injury. Moments later, a different scenery unfolded ahead. Streetlights began to appear along the roadside, and buildings became noticeably closer and taller, with an increase in pedestrians and vehicles. Shortly thereafter, the trio officially entered the urban area, where various shops and hotels were ubiquitous, accompanied by the constant clamor of local vendors. At last, they arrived in Badong County. As Lin Chen retrieved his spare phone to locate a hotel, a man approached from ahead. He appeared to be in his 40s, donned glasses, had a pale complexion, and was tall and thin. Most striking was his meticulously styled hair, slicked back with wax, looking impeccably groomed. The man walked with a steady gait and extended his hand from a distance. His voice, somewhat incongruous with his austere appearance, carried a gentle tone. Lin Chen. We finally meet. Chapter 346. The Arrival of the Celestial Brother. Lin Chen has struck gold again. Lin Chen, perplexed, reached out to shake the man's hand, inquiring, "Who are you?" The man smiled and replied, "A deity descended. I mentioned before, I've retired and come to invite you for a drink." He then greeted the audience in the live stream with a grin. "Hello everyone. I am the Celestial Brother. My real name is Su Fan. This revelation sent the chat into a frenzy. Goodness. The Celestial Brother. He looks so youthful. His demeanor screams business elite. Not just any elite. Retiring at such a young age is a mark of a true gold-collar worker. Wow, the wealthy fans in Lin Shen's livestream are genuine supporters. They all rushed to Sichuan to take action. I miss Brother Huang Cheng. It's been ages since he last appeared. He won't be ghosting us, will he? Oh. I miss Sister Shi from the 4th day of the Song Dynasty. Lin Shen chuckled. I thought you were joking. I didn't expect you would actually show up. Su Fan expressed a sense of nostalgia. I've lived too exhaustingly in the past. I consider this a chance to grant myself an extended vacation. Of course. The main reason is to see you. There are matters I feel only you can understand. I've already reserved a hotel for you. It's not far ahead. And the environment is quite pleasant. Lin Shen chuckled in amusement. Su Fan had previously been Pei Qian's secretary, and with the affairs involving Logic Group and Pei Qian settled, Su Fan was finally free. However, any related matters would need to remain confidential. Only he, as a participant, could speak candidly. Su Fan's words, upon reaching the audience's ears, took on a different flavor. The Celestial Brother's words carry weight. What could be so significant that he can only discuss it with Lin Shen? Don't ask. It's all about the money, and they need to gain something from Lin Shen. Keywords, hotel. Those in the know will understand. The Celestial Brother clearly has stories to tell. He must share them with Lin Shen tonight. Lin Shen, upon hearing this, checked with Li Xiao and Shui Er, and seeing that they had no objections, followed Su Fan for a brief, while until they reached the welcome Grand Hotel. Just as Su Fan had mentioned, both the location and ambience were quite commendable for Baton County, with reasonable prices starting at $300 for a standard room. After completing the check-in process, the group ascended to their respective rooms. Lin Shen was in room 402, while Li Xiao and Shui Er were in room 401, and Su Fan was in room 403. Upon entering his room, Lin Shen placed his belongings down and prepared to head to the lobby to wait for others to join him for dinner at the restaurant Su Fan had prearranged. Just as he was heading downstairs, he noticed a message in the livestream. Breaking news. Yan Shirui and the fake detection King Lu Hai have had all their accounts banned across platforms. This announcement sparked a heated discussion in the chat. Good riddance. It was about time. This group ran afoul of Lin Shen. They were bound to meet this fate. I'm a self-media blogger stationed at the hospital where Yan Shirui is. Check my profile. The Zhenin Bureau has already taken away Yan Shirui's daughter-in-law. I can confirm. I've seen videos from other bloggers. Honestly, I think Yan Shirui's daughter-in-law looks quite ordinary and has a bit of a hunch, but my brother insists she is beautiful. I saw it too. No wonder Yan Shirui couldn't control himself. From the side, that woman seems quite formidable, certainly not someone to underestimate. I am a student at Nanfeng University. I must mention, half an hour ago, I witnessed Professor Wei Yuan being taken away by Zhen and bureau personnel right from the classroom, even wearing silver bracelets. Haha, Song Kato was also taken away. I always thought he looked familiar, but I couldn't place him until now. It turns out he is a criminal. Amidst the barrage of comments, many shared sightings of various influencers being escorted away by the Zhenin Bureau, with a mix of truths and fabrications. Some profiles of the informants led to pages filled with lively, vividly clear images of women. Many who returned to express their outrage for being duped had quietly followed these accounts. Lin Shen, observing the comments, chuckled. Why is no one saying it was me who reported them? As soon as he spoke, the chat erupted with countless reactions of disbelief and admiration. Of course. I knew it. Only you could pull off something like this. Unbelievable. Lin Shen then remarked, enough with the jokes. So, don't think of the internet as a lawless territory. Speak what needs to be said and refrain from accepting ill-gotten gains, especially those of dubious origins, as they lead to this very outcome. The chat once again erupted with excitement. We understand now. Each one of them is a walking liability. Goodness. Lin Shen has struck it rich this time. If one is worth 50,000, how much are all these people worth? This is quite unscrupulous of Lin Shen. How could he not share the wealth? Wow. Lin Shen's performance today has skyrocketed. I think I'll report my neighbor. Several times I've seen her sitting at her shop entranced late at night, as if waiting for someone, and those entering her shop seem rather suspicious. I suspect my girlfriend is tied to the Ingua Bureau. Several times, I've inadvertently caught her with different people while dining and shopping. She is definitely on some covert mission. Lin Shen settled onto the sofa in the hotel lobby, barely warming the seat when two young visitors on the opposite couch suddenly exclaimed, You are Lin Shen from Quafu Group? Taken aback, Lin Shen nodded, affirming, That's me. The two young tourists, bursting with excitement, eagerly showcased their phones to Lin Shen, exclaiming, We were just reading about you in the news. We can take a picture together, right? Lin Shun, momentarily speechless, agreed to their request, and they snapped a photo together. The duo then excitedly suggested treating Lin Shun to a meal, but he politely declined. Slightly disappointed, they turned their attention to the live-streaming phone, drawn by its peculiar allure. Is this really the live-streaming phone mentioned in the news? It's astonishing. It seems to be floating, yet there's hardly any sound. One remarked. Is it true that this phone has never been charged? Lin Shun smiled and confirmed. Indeed, it has never been charged. At that moment, Su Fan also descended the stairs. Observing the scene, his brows lifted. Once the two tourists departed, Su Fan took a seat beside Lin Shun and half-jokingly remarked, Lin, this live-streaming phone of yours is quite a treasure. Aren't you afraid it might be stolen? Lin Shun chuckled, replying, Brother Su, just call me Lin Shun. I actually welcome their attention. Otherwise, if I fail to meet my targets one day, the audience in the live stream might voice their discontent. Su Fan couldn't help but laugh, while the viewers in the live stream were equally delighted. Who would complain? It's clearly you who has become addicted to the attention. Soon, Li Xiao and Shui Er also came downstairs. Lin Shun and Su Fan stood and exited together, walking towards the restaurant that Su Fan had reserved. As they walked, Lin Shen's gaze shifted, keenly detecting several pairs of watchful eyes from different directions. Chapter 347, The Challenge of Being a Good Man. An unexpected turn of events. Maintaining his composure, Lin Shen casually scanned the surroundings and pinpointed the location of the watchers, 6 individuals in total. The moment their gazes met, the onlookers were taken aback, quickly revealing a look of reverence and averting their eyes. Lin Shen instantly recognized that these individuals belonged to the Nguisi. He couldn't help but shake his head inwardly. The agents dispatched by Nguisi were monitoring him too closely, making their identities easily discernible. However, he couldn't blame them. Once the announcement from the external publicity department was made, spies from various countries likely began to take notice. It was possible that among the small town of Batang County, many spies were lying in wait, ready to act. For his safety, it was imperative that they remained vigilant. He then whispered, Xiaoji, please keep an eye out for any suspicious individuals in Batang County. If you confirm they are spies, send me their locations and descriptions. Xiaoji promptly acknowledged the task. Lin Shen continued, additionally, where is Luo Xian now? Xiaoji replied. She has just exited the highway and is about to enter Dingkong City. He then spoke rapidly, wait. Just now she mentioned in the live stream that she plans to stay in Dingkong City for a night and intends to meet Song Juya. Upon hearing this, Lin Shen's pupils constricted. What on earth did this woman intend to do? He found some solace in the fact that there were always agents from Nguisi shadowing Luo Xian. Nevertheless, the thought of Luo Xian potentially causing harm to Song Juya filled him with inexplicable agitation. Perhaps it would be better if she were to simply disappear. This thought surged uncontrollably. The moment it crossed his mind, Lin Shun sighed inwardly. Killing was easy, but what if he mistakenly targeted the wrong person? In a world devoid of laws that could punish him, he could not escape the condemnation of his own conscience. He realized that since the curse of misfortune had upgraded, he had acquired the most fearsome weapon for killing in this world. Because this weapon was so terrifying, it required its wielder to impose self-restraint. Otherwise, he would inevitably become a remorseless killer. After a moment of contemplation, Lin Shen slowed his pace and took out his phone to have Xiaoji follow Li Xiao, while he himself called Song Juya. The call connected swiftly, and Song Juya's voice, tinged with excitement, came through. Lin Shen, why are you calling me out of the blue? Lin Shen replied, can't I call you unless there's something wrong? How have you been these past few days? Song Juya chuckled lightly, certainly not as eventful as you, sending people in, being interviewed by Zhao Hanhui, making international news, and dealing with a nosebleed. Lin Shen responded with a hint of exasperation, I was forced into it. And let us not even mention the nosebleed. Song Juya laughed again, so what is up? Lin Shen grew serious, saying, Luo Xian is coming to see you. Be cautious and find an excuse to avoid meeting her. This woman is extremely dangerous. After a brief silence, Song Juya responded, all right. I'll say I have to work late tonight, and will be staying at Zhenanxi. If she is after you, you should also be careful. Lin Shen acknowledged with a sound, momentarily at a loss for words. The silence on the line was palpable, and just as he was about to say something to break the tension, Song Juya's soft voice broke through. If something were to happen to me, would you miss me? Hearing this, Lin Shen replied solemnly, you won't come to harm. Song Juya chided, I'm speaking hypothetically. Lin Shen could only respond helplessly. Why bring up such a non-existent hypothetical? Even if nothing happens, I occasionally think of you. Song Juya's voice brightened instantly. What do you think of me? Lin Shen's heart skipped a beat. This exchange felt rather unusual. Clearing his throat, he said, in any case, Take care of yourself. I have to hang up now. With that, he hurriedly ended the call. This situation was becoming increasingly strange. Lin Shun, despite never having been in a romantic relationship, sensed that Song Juya was showing signs of evolving into a more flirtatious demeanor. He could never quite understand how, during interactions with several women, he had maintained an air of propriety, refraining from taking the initiative or getting too close, treating them as good sisters and older siblings, never intentionally flirting with anyone. Even when feelings surged, he quickly suppressed them using his innate discipline. At what point had familial affection begun to morph into something else? What did she mean by "what do you think of me"? If he were truly a scoundrel, a simple declaration of longing would surely have earned him full marks, leaving Song Juya blushing and fluttering. Yet, he was not that person. Lin Shun couldn't help but let out a long sigh. So, it was genuinely such a challenge to be a good man. He then dialed Zhong Wenzhou's number. As soon as the call connected, Zhong Wenzhou remarked, "You want to discuss Luo Xian, right? Don't worry, everything is arranged in Dingkong City. If she dares to stir trouble, we will definitely take her down." Lin Shun felt a wave of relief wash over him, saying, "Just try not to draw too much attention." Zhong Wenzhou responded with confusion. He continued, "The items you listed last time have already been transported to Batang, and the 4 key personnel from the High-Tech Institute have also arrived. I'll send you the address and contact information shortly." Lin Shun replied, "All right, I'll finish my broadcast early today and meet with them." Zhong Wenzhou added, "Additionally, based on our intelligence, due to the situation with the external publicity department, many spies are now posing as tourists heading towards the Sichuan region. And Batang might have some as well. Most of them have already been apprehended, but some spies are deeply embedded. And even we at Nguasi may not have complete information on them, so you must remain vigilant in the coming days." Lin Chen's heart stirred. "Is Su Fan reliable?" Zhong Wenzhou assured, "You can trust him." Hearing those 4 words, Lin Shun felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He truly feared encountering another rogue like the one from the Imperial City. Zhong Wenzhou's voice came through again. "Luo Xian is clearly aware that you possess a firearm. I'm currently investigating where the breach occurred. Once I find out, I'll inform you." With that, he ended the call. Lin Shun put away his phone and caught up with Li Xiao and the others ahead. They soon entered a restaurant where Su Fan, evidently familiar with the place, greeted the host and led the group into a private dining room. On the table were already 2 bottles of red wine and 5 bottles of Maodai. As soon as they sat down, the dishes began to be served. To Lin Chen's astonishment, the servers bringing in the food were actually disguised personnel from the Nguasi, each one tall and imposing, with a menacing demeanor. They subtly made a no gesture towards him from an angle hidden from the camera. Had they checked for poison before serving? Lin Shen sensed that Su Fan would have much to say soon and immediately informed the livestream that he wished to end the broadcast early. The comments flooded in with protests. "No way. Ending the livestream so soon? I've already opened my drink. You can't do this now. Lin Shun has gotten too big for his boots, ending the stream earlier each day. Let us keep it muted. Today is a special day for Lin Shun as a big boss. We must drink together. I finally have a free day while my wife is away. I must drink with Lin Shun. Drinking with Lin Shun while holding someone else's wife is a rare blessing. I can't drink. I'll just offer some soy milk in honor of Lin Shun and brother Tian Shun." Seeing this, Lin Shun could only smile wryly, agreeing not to end the broadcast, but to mute it instead. Most viewers reluctantly accepted this. The dishes were served, and they were about to start eating when Lin Shun suddenly heard Xiao Zhi's voice. "Dad." Yi Xiaoxi just left Dingkong Airport and took a taxi while watching Luo Xian's livestream, heading towards her location. Chapter 348. Yi Xiaoxi's heartfelt thoughts and Lin Shen's strategy. Lin Shen's heart tightened upon hearing this. What was Yi Xiaoxi thinking? Knowing that Luo Xian was dangerous, she still chose to approach her. Was she truly willing to put herself in harm's way? Unable to remain seated, he said he needed to make a call and stood up, leaving the private room to the astonished gazes of Li Xiao and the others. He walked out of the restaurant to a secluded area and dialed Yi Xiaoxi's number. The call connected quickly. In a stern tone, Lin Shen said, "Yi Xiaoxi, have you lost your mind? Why are you going to find Luo Xian at this time?" In a taxi in Dingkong City, Yi Xiaoxi was taken aback, then replied angrily, "Not only did you read my diary, but you also installed a tracking app on my phone. How else would you know I'm going to find Luo Xian?" Lin Shen hesitated and said, "That is not important. You wanted to come find me, so hurry up and come, but don't go looking for Luo Xian." Inside the taxi, Yi Xiaoxi fell silent, her gaze and expression softening. Noticing her silence, Lin Shen quickened his tone. "I'm serious. I'm not joking. This is not something to take lightly. This person is very dangerous. Pei Shanshan may have died at her hands." Yi Xiaoxi finally spoke. "Lin Shun, since starting my business, I have always acted rationally. But this time, I want to be impulsive. Or rather, since meeting Li Xiao and then you, I have gradually lost my rationality. Lin Shun's expression stiffened, and he sighed. Sister Shi. Yi Xiaoxi interrupted. Let me finish. I know you're powerful, and you have connections. Even the external propaganda department is speaking for you. To ensure your safety, there must be in Guoxi personnel watching Luo Xian now. However, given their identities and Luo Xian's special status, they cannot act openly while she is streaming. If Luo Xian is truly a villain, I am willing to be the bait that draws her out. When the Nguosi strikes, she will no longer be able to approach you. If she doesn't act immediately, I can observe her closely, discerning her true intentions towards you. Lin Shan took a deep breath and said, You don't need to do this. Just let her come. You know my strength. She can't possibly harm me. By approaching her recklessly, you might become leverage she uses against me. Yi Xiaoxi replied gently, but from my standpoint, this is the only thing I can do for you right now. You don't need to worry too much. From my observations, she doesn't seem to be coming for your life, but has other motives. I will strive to understand her true intentions before she approaches you. With that, she hung up before Lin Shan could respond. He rubbed his temples in frustration. This woman, who does she think she is touching with her sentimentality? Has being a president for too long made her unable to listen to others? He softly instructed Xiao Ji. Send me the location, model, and license plate number of the taxi Yi Xiaoxi is in. Xiao Ji promptly sent the relevant information to Lin Shan's phone. After glancing at it, Lin Shan began to curse the taxi vehemently. Half a minute later, Xiao Ji exclaimed, Dad, the taxi Yi Xiaoxi is in suddenly broke down. And the engine hood is on fire. Lin Shan raised an eyebrow. Is Yi Xiaoxi okay? Xiao Ji replied, She is fine. Just got out and is calling the town security bureau. The driver is using a fire extinguisher. A satisfied smile spread across Lin Shan's face. Verify the driver's identity and transfer 200,000 to his bank account. Keep an eye on Yi Xiaoxi. If she still intends to find Luo Xian, inform me of any transport she uses. Xiao Ji replied, Understood, Dad. Lin Shan turned back towards the restaurant, continuing to curse. This time, his target was Luo Xian. Silently calculating the timing of his curses, Lin Shan returned to the private room and said in surprise, Why haven't you started eating? Li Xiao shot him a glare. You're the main character. Who dares to eat without you here? Lin Shan chuckled. We're all friends. There's no need for such formalities. He then grabbed a bottle of red wine, inquired about Li Xiao and Shue's preferences, and upon receiving their approval, opened it and poured for them. Meanwhile, Su Fan also opened a bottle of Maotai and poured 2 small cups. Lin Shan stood up with a cup in hand. Su Gu, thank you for your unwavering support and for traveling such a long distance. This cup is for you. Su Fan immediately stood up, jokingly raising his cup. Lin Zong is too courteous. If I ever find myself out of work, I might just have to apply to Kuafu Group. Please look after me then. Lin Shan shook his head with a smile, clinking glasses with Su Fan and downing the contents in one go. After sitting down, Su Fan tasted a dish and frowned slightly. The food here is a bit average. Lin Shan laughed. I think it's all right. When dining out, we must make do. He thought to himself that perhaps the chef was being monitored by Nguosi while cooking, so achieving even 50% of his usual standard would be commendable. He poured another glass for Su Fan and himself, raising his cup towards the live stream. Dear viewers, this cup is for you. Thank you for your companionship all this time. Without you, there would be no today's me. I'm drinking. Feel free to join. With that, he downed the drink in one go. The live stream chat instantly erupted with excitement. Lin Shan is toasting. We must drink with him. I never imagined I would be toasted by a billionaire CEO. I must down this cup. Cheers. Tonight, we drink until we drop. After this, I'll confess to the goddess. Haha. This scene reminds me of when Lin Shan single-handedly brought down several CEOs at Old Capitol Bridge. 5 bottles of Maotai. Lin Shan is just rinsing his mouth. Bring me 10 more. Lin Shan then said, We'll mute the stream from now on. As a gesture of goodwill, I'll send out a small red packet of 10,000,660 SXS. Viewers without a fan badge can get one to participate in the lottery. As soon as he finished speaking, the chat erupted once more. Countless viewers inundated the live chat with comments such as, Goodness, Lin is distributing wealth again. When it comes to giving red envelopes, it's got to be Lin. Small red envelopes 1, and hurry up. Lin Shan promptly instructed Xiao Ji to set up a red envelope feature in the live stream and muted the sound. Instantly, numerous notifications of fans sending light boards flooded the chat. Lin Shan then ignored the audience and continued to enjoy food and drink while conversing with Su Fan. Having spent many years alongside Pei Qian, Su Fan had become quite the connoisseur of drinking games, equipped with an arsenal of persuasive toasts. Nevertheless, Lin Shen welcomed all toasts, cheerfully drinking whatever Su Fan proposed before reciprocating the gesture. In less than 10 minutes, having barely touched the dishes, a bottle of Mao Tai was entirely consumed, leaving the audience in the live stream astounded. Who could withstand such a drinking pace? Unbeknownst to anyone, while Lin Shun engaged in drinking and chatting, he silently recited a curse. After finishing the bottle of Mao Tai, he finally paused, his mental energy nearly depleted, and his complexion slightly pale. The timing of the curse was precisely calculated to 9 minutes and 58 seconds. From this point onward, if anything seemed amiss on Luo Xian's end, with just 2 more seconds of cursing, he could trigger the lethal mode of the Advanced Misfortune spell. Chapter 349, A Horrific Car Accident. The powerful Luo Xian in Dingkong City, an SUV was navigating the roads leading into the urban area. Inside the vehicle, Luo Xian was both driving and live streaming. At this moment, her live stream boasted a stable viewership of slightly over 20 million, although it paled in comparison to Lin Shen's audience. It remained a top-tier traffic magnet across the internet. This was primarily due to the fact that no other first-tier celebrity in the entertainment industry had ever engaged in prolonged outdoor live streaming, especially while driving along the 318 highway. Coupled with Luo Xian's approachable demeanor during her streams, she was far from the aloof persona many had previously perceived. From discussions about clothing purchases to makeup, dieting, music creation, and amusing anecdotes from her pre-fame days, she captivated many viewers. Additionally, Lin Shen's influence played a significant role, as numerous fans of his would occasionally visit her stream, eager to see her current location and speculate on the sparks that might fly between her and Lin Shen in the future. At that moment, Luo Xian glanced at the live chat once more and smiled softly. You needn't inquire about my relationship with Lin Shen. I truly have no connection with him. If anything, he owes me a debt. As soon as these words left her lips, the chat erupted. What on earth did Lin do to our goddess Luo to warrant such a debt chase? Case closed. Lin Shen once mentioned he washed dishes after dropping out of school. It turns out he was working at Luo Xian's place. Let us not jump to conclusions. Lin Shen and Luo Xian must have a well-acquainted relationship. Let us not bring up Lin Shen's past hardships. Everyone has their low points. After all, when he dropped out of school, it was understandable that he had to work as a little wolf dog for a few years. Indeed, times are tough for everyone. I know many young women whose families are in dire straits, whether due to illness or the need to support multiple siblings in school. So let us give more where we can. Just as the comments flooded in, a vehicle on a trailer ahead of Luo Xian's SUV suddenly broke free, crashing to the ground and rolling towards her vehicle. Luo Xian's pupils constricted as she swiftly scanned her surroundings. To her right was a raging river, and an oncoming truck was barreling down the opposite lane. If she swerved to evade, she would surely collide with the truck. In that split second, she made her decision. With a hard press of the brake, she gripped the steering wheel tightly, pressing her body against the seat. Boom. The accident vehicle slammed into the front of the SUV. The immense impact deployed the airbags, causing Luo Xian to grunt in pain. But that was not the end. The rear wheels of the SUV skidded sideways, crashing into the right side barrier. To make matters worse, this stretch of road had previously witnessed a severe accident, and the damaged barrier had yet to be replaced, severely warped and deformed. Upon this second impact, the screws securing the barrier were violently dislodged. The SUV crashed through the barrier, careening toward the turbulent river. In this critical moment, Luo Xian seized her phone, which had fallen onto the center console, along with a backpack from the passenger seat. Noticing the car door was now deformed, she wasted no time and slapped it with her palm. Bang! With a metallic crunch, the door flew off. Luo Xian leaped out, grasping the edge of the barrier, and using the momentum, landed on top of it. She looked up to see the accident vehicle, now with its hood raised high, suddenly igniting into flames, fueled by the spilled gasoline. The towering flames erupted, engulfing the wreck. Luo Xian's pupils narrowed again, and without hesitation, she pushed off with all her might. Boom! The explosive force, mingled with flickering flames, rained down upon Luo Xian as she soared through the air. In the next instant, she crashed against the windshield of an oncoming sedan that had not managed to stop in time. The glass caved in, spiderwebs of cracks forming. Inside, the occupants screamed in shock. A series of crackling sounds echoed within Luo Xian's body as she adeptly adjusted her posture to minimize the impact. She rolled over the car's roof and fell into the trunk, swiftly regaining her balance with a graceful kick, standing firmly. Without hesitation, she discarded her now burning down jacket onto the ground, revealing her tall and striking figure beneath. At that moment, a startled, triangular-headed snake suddenly darted out from the grass beside her, baring its fangs to strike at her calf. Luo Xian's gaze sharpened, and with a decisive stomp, she crushed the snake's head into a pulp. After cautiously surveying her surroundings and ensuring the danger had passed, relief washed over her face. However, a fleeting expression of pain crossed her features. The abruptness of the incident and the multitude of factors had left her with no option but to rely on her extraordinary reflexes to withstand the assault. Now, she felt internal injuries, her body aching as if it might fall apart. Had the trailer carrying the accident vehicle not been following her after she overtook it, she might have thought this was a deliberate assassination attempt against her. For an ordinary person, they would either drown in the river after the SUV plunged in or perish in the explosion's aftermath from being struck by the following vehicle. At the very least, they would be bitten by the suddenly appearing snake. The myriad of threats converging had left Luo Xian with an unsettling sense of dread, her scalp tingling. Suddenly, she remembered something and glanced at her hastily discarded phone. The live stream was still active, and the comments were in a frenzy. What just happened? Was there a car accident? I saw the accident vehicle crash, but then I couldn't see anything else. It looks like Luo Xian was hit by another car. Quick, report this to the authorities. Is Luo Xian all right? She should go to the hospital. With a gentle smile, Luo Xian replied, it was just a minor accident. But I'm fine. She then switched the camera to the rear-facing lens. The viewers were met with the horrific scene, prompting a flood of exclamations of horror. Luo Xian turned around, calmly addressing a black SUV that had come to a halt behind her. Get down and assist. Inside the SUV, several personnel from the National Security Bureau exchanged glances with Luo Xian, their faces marked by uncertainty as they instinctively reached for their holstered firearms. Having closely followed the entire sequence of events from the accident to her miraculous escape, they couldn't help but wonder, was this woman truly just a singer in the entertainment industry? Her reflexes and skills surpassed even those of seasoned warriors. Moreover, when did she become aware of their presence trailing behind her? A glance exchanged, the personnel from the Security Bureau of Anghua swiftly exited their vehicles, some dialing phone numbers while others rushed to provide assistance. The live chat in Lin Chen's streaming room erupted in fervor. Lin God, Goddess Luo has been in an accident. How tragic. Thankfully, Luo Xian's agility allowed her to escape unscathed. Agility? What she demonstrated goes beyond mere agility. I bet Luo Xian must possess martial arts skills. It's truly astonishing. The danger she faced rivals that of Lin God kicking a vehicle off the road, something only extraordinary individuals can achieve. Wow. Now I understand why Lin God could kick a vehicle. You and Luo Xian must be fellow disciples. Once this news breaks, Goddess Luo is bound to trend on social media. Upon reading the comments, Lin Shun furrowed his brow. He promptly retrieved a backup phone and entered Luo Xian's live stream. To his surprise, she was still broadcasting, soothing her audience while showcasing the scene of the accident. From the footage, it appeared that aside from missing her outer garment, her hair slightly singed, and her forehead swollen from the impact, she seemed remarkably unharmed. Achieving such a feat in the face of such a horrific accident spoke volumes about her capabilities. This woman was indeed extraordinary. Chapter 350, A Harsh Reprimand for Yi Xiaoxi. Things took a strange turn as Lin Shen pondered. His backup phone suddenly rang. Upon answering, he recognized Yi Xiaoxi's slightly anxious voice. Something happened with Luo Xian. Are you aware? Is it merely a coincidence, or? Lin Shen replied, I'm not entirely sure. The situation there is quite complicated. In any case, you should avoid meeting her. Yi Xiaoxi protested, but Lin Shen's voice escalated sharply. Stop being so presumptuous. Inside the private room, Li Xiao and Su Fan were taken aback, staring at Lin Shen in shock. They had never seen him exhibit such anger. Lin Shen continued sternly, You're nearly 30 years old. Why are you acting like a child? Can you please think before you act? What you're doing now serves only to complicate matters and indulge yourself. It offers me no assistance. If you truly wish to express your feelings for me, my live stream is available for you to support me there. Go ahead and show your generosity. But refrain from meddling in unnecessary affairs. Right now, immediately, return to Modu or come to Batong. In any case, do not engage in any further foolish actions. Once the words left his mouth, he felt a pang of regret for his harshness. There was a moment of silence on the other end, followed by a faint sound of sobbing. Then, a soft and delicate voice responded, Please don't be angry. I'll do as you say. Just wait for me. The call ended abruptly. Lin Shen. He expected Yi Xiaoxi to retaliate in anger, especially after he had pointed out her age. Instead, she seemed to have been subdued by his reprimand. In other words, did she need a scolding? What kind of issue was this? When he had previously offered her gentle advice, she had resisted, yet now, after a harsh rebuke, she appeared content. He looked up to find Li Xiao and Su Er watching him with peculiar expressions. Li Xiao queried, "Is it Sister Shi? How did you manage to scold her? Where is she now?" Lin Chun, with a forced calmness, placed the backup phone on the table. "It was her. What's wrong with scolding her? If she makes mistakes, she deserves to be reprimanded until she understands." Su Er asked curiously, "What did Sister Shi do wrong? Why did you have to scold her to tears?" Lin Chun briefly explained. "She is currently in Dingkong and mentioned wanting to see Luo Xian. I feared they might clash, and since she wouldn't heed my advice, I resorted to scolding her." Li Xiao seemed to ponder for a moment before smirking. "It seems Sister Shi is still hung up on someone. It's only been a few days since her return, and she can't resist running back to Sichuan." Lin Chen cleared his throat. "There are other reasons at play." Su Er, intrigued, asked, "What reasons? Did she forget something?" Li Xiao turned to her, seriously stating, "Perhaps it is a heart that she left behind." Su Er nodded in realization. Lin Chen interjected, "What are you two playing at? Are we performing a skit here?" At that moment, in the live stream, a notification appeared. "Modu Sister She sent 666 carnival gifts." Modu Sister She commented, "Chen Chun, you're so manly. I really like it. Is that enough? If not, I can send more." Simultaneously, a voice echoed in Lin Chen's ear, "Daddy, Yi Xiaoxi sent you a gift." Lin Chun turned to see a wave of frustration wash over him. He once again felt that this woman had some peculiar tendencies. After being scolded, she was now showering him with gifts. Was it really that enjoyable? Yet, he couldn't help but smile, his lips betraying him with a grin. He promptly unmuted the stream. "Thank you, Sister Shi, for the gifts. That's quite sufficient. Please be careful on the road." Li Xiao rolled her eyes in exasperation. The chat exploded with excitement. What the heck? What is going on? Why did Sister Shi suddenly go all out? Could it be because of that phone call? Although we couldn't hear the conversation, Lin God looked quite intimidating. Who was he arguing with? I suspect the person Lin God was arguing with is Sister Shi. She is now sending gifts as an apology. What do you mean by be careful on the road? No way. Is Big Yi coming to find Lin God again? Is this for real? It's over. Big Yi is completely infatuated. She might as well sell the company and not return to Modu. I remember when my wife pursued me relentlessly, bringing with her a building and a $3 million car. Though I've gained weight, looking back, it was all worth it. Your wife doesn't exist. Everyone stand back. I'm Huang. Let me take over. Meanwhile, Su Fan was trying to stifle his laughter, his eyes gleaming with a strange expression. Truly, Lin God's unexpected outburst radiated a masculine energy that was undeniably impressive. Moreover, he managed to handle the situation with such confidence, deftly controlling the wealthy female audience in the stream, an exemplary figure in the world of live broadcasting. At that moment, Modu's Sister She remarked, "See you tomorrow." The chat erupted once more, with viewers flooding the comments with excitement. Wow, she is really coming. Let the chaos begin. Is Sister She heading towards Luoxian? Let us see a showdown. Lin Chen couldn't help but smile wryly at the camera before muting the stream again. In Dingkong City, standing by the roadside, Yi Xiaoxi felt her cheeks flush. She gazed at Lin Chen's profile in the live stream, her eyes filled with affection. After his harsh words, she realized that she had indeed been a bit too impulsive. Upon returning to Modu, her mind was filled with memories of the events in Sichuan. She recalled the thrilling night of the assassination attempt, narrowly escaping death, the next night's boisterous festivities, and how Lin Chun had helped her unravel her emotional knots, leading her to boldly confess her feelings. She remembered the song suddenly, which Lin Chun sang at their farewell, as she discreetly wiped away tears in the back of the business vehicle. Having never experienced love before, she had inexplicably searched online for various dating tutorials and watched several classic dramas featuring domineering CEOs and innocent heroines, taking notes as she watched. Reflecting now, she realized that she had undoubtedly been influenced by those dating tutorials and mindless dramas. In those stories, the domineering CEO would always come to the rescue at the crucial moment when the innocent heroine was in danger, accompanied by a dramatic soundtrack, capturing her heart in the process. Ultimately, she had unconsciously attempted to apply such scenarios to her own life. Upon discovering that Luo Xian was a dangerous person, and coincidentally being in Dingkong, she instinctively wanted to do something for Lin Chen. In a moment of passion, she had acted irrationally. In simpler terms, she had been swept away by love, her intelligence momentarily dulled. In truth, such errors are quite common among those inexperienced in romance. Due to a particular tone, a fleeting glance, or a mere message from the other party, one can easily become ensnared in a web of anxious musings and interpretations, leading to sleepless nights and impulsive, irrational behaviors that often yield unfavorable outcomes. High academic qualifications do not necessarily equate to emotional intelligence. And merely being financially successful does not imply one possesses the skills of romance. The internet is rife with stories of individuals who have been deceived out of substantial sums, provoking a chorus of disbelief and outrage from commentators questioning how such easily duped individuals can still be affluent. This illustrates a prevailing truth. In the present moment, Lin Shun's scathing reprimand served to awaken Yi Xiaoxi from her stupor, simultaneously stirring within her an inexplicable, almost shameful flutter of emotion that blossomed from deep within her. She found herself struggling to breathe, captivated by Lin Shun's boldness and assertiveness. Once his tirade concluded, she felt a lingering sense of loss, as though the moment had slipped away too swiftly. Chapter 351. The True Face of the God of Heaven. Love and conflict resolved with Yi Xiaoxi's dilemma addressed. Lin Shun could finally set his mind at ease. The dinner gathering continued, and after a considerable time, he and Su Fan had consumed 4 bottles of Maodai. Even Su Fan, seasoned as he was, had succumbed to intoxication. Pulling Lin Shun's hand as he recounted the myriad hardships and harrowing experiences of his undercover work beside Pei Qian, unveiling the sordid underbelly of various industries, he proceeded to unleash a tirade against the members of the Pei faction within the Logic Group. Lin Shun, maintaining his composure, offered words of comfort in response to Su Fan's rants, while Li Ziao and Shui listened in astonishment. Finally grasping why Lin Shun had muted the live stream, some of the content was too explosive and would set the internet ablaze if leaked. As Su Fan grew slightly disoriented, he began sending an avalanche of gifts in Lin Shun's live stream, prompting an uproar among viewers as they marveled at his fervor. Wow! The God of Heaven is truly inebriated and has started showering gifts. The God of Heaven is indeed a devoted fan, traveling all the way to Sichuan just to share a drink with Lin Shun, and now showering him with gifts. Oh no, the money has already been shelled out. Lin Shun is utterly trapped, and there will surely be a showdown tonight. The God of Heaven has jumped the gun. A friend of mine usually sends a black screen rocket at the end of the night. Goodness, the spending here is astronomical. My friends have fixed budgets, but they often hit dead ends, claiming they can't drink while out. What kind of place are you in? This is too aggressive. My friend, on the other hand, always gets encouraged to drink more. Lin Shun was taken aback and quickly pressed Su Fan's hand down. Brother Su, that's enough. Just a gesture is sufficient. Or else when you return, your wife will have you scrubbing the washboard. Su Fan grinned widely, brushing Lin Shun's hand aside, and slurred, what wife? I'm not into women. I've never intended to marry. Lin Shun froze entirely, his scalp tingling with shock. Li Ziao and Shui, having observed Su Fan gripping Lin Shun's hand tightly since the 3rd bottle, felt a sense of unease creeping in, realizing something was amiss. Now, the truth dawned upon them. The God of Heaven had traveled across the country to target Lin Shun with a metaphorical bullet, while Su Fan, though not as maniacal, intended to strike Lin Shun in his own way. What was happening? Fortunately, the live stream remained muted, otherwise, the barrage of comments would have been overwhelming. Lin Shun chuckled nervously. Brother Su, you really know how to joke. You don't seem the type. Attempting to withdraw his hand from Su Fan's grasp, he found it firmly held. Su Fan, with a flushed face and a hint of affection in his gaze, declared, I'm not joking. But don't worry. I primarily admire you. There's no ulterior motive. With that, he released Lin Shun's hand, leaving him feeling a mix of relief and continued apprehension. If admiration was the main sentiment, then what was the nature of this admiration? It felt more significant than the primary intent. He then opened another bottle of Maodai, saying, Come on, Brother Su, let us continue drinking. Su Fan readily accepted. After consuming another bottle, he remained upright but leaned heavily on the table, repeatedly insisting he was drunk. Lin Shun finally felt at ease. It is well known that when a man is thoroughly intoxicated, he can only exhibit certain behaviors, nothing more. Turning to Li Ziao and Shui, he noticed both women blushing and stifling laughter. Li Ziao, unable to contain her mirth, remarked, I never realized you were so popular back in school. Lin Shun chuckled. You're quite popular too. Even sister she likes you. Didn't you two have that encounter in the tent? Li Ziao's face turned crimson, and she grabbed the wine bottle, flustered. You're going to die? Meanwhile, Shui, who had just heard a juicy tidbit, widened her eyes in curiosity, her breaths quickening with anticipation. What happened in the tent? What went down? Li Ziao bit her lip, clutching the bottle defensively, ready to retaliate if provoked. Lin Shun scoffed lightly and began to lead Su Fan out. Upon reaching the front desk, he inquired and found that Su Fan had already settled the bill, so he simply guided him back to the hotel. Li Ziao glared at Lin Shun's retreating figure, remaining silent. Shui, munching on a takeout rib, glanced back and forth, intrigued. The live stream chat erupted with excitement. Wow, what is wrong with Sister Smart? She looked so furious a moment ago, almost ready to swing that wine bottle. This meal has been a roller coaster. Sister Smart's gaze seems like she wants to devour Lin Shun. Has she flipped? Lin Shun, please unmute. I want to know what you just said. Everyone, take note. This is a classic case of drinking mishaps. Especially for girls, never drink too much alone outside. It's easy to attract unwanted attention. I lost one of my friends yesterday. Just then, a notification chimed. Magic City Sister, she sent 10 carnivals. Magic City Sister, she hee. Viewers were thrilled at this turn of events, flooding the chat with affirmations of Sister She's joy and the camaraderie displayed. Seeing the gifts, Lin Shun seized the moment to unmute and exclaimed, "Thank you, Sister She, for the 10 carnivals. And thank you for the lively comments." The viewers erupted in laughter, realizing this was merely stoking the fire. Li Xiao, overhearing, hurried over, indignant. "He's talking bad about us, and you're still gifting him." A few moments later, Magic City Sister, she remarked, "Why don't you just hit him then?" Li Xiao glared, her resolve crumbling, and she fell silent. Lin Shun chuckled inwardly, recognizing Sister She's desire for distance. How could she expect a united front? Shortly thereafter, everyone returned to the hotel. Lin Shun extracted the room card from Su Fan's pocket, helped him to bed, and tucked him in. Just as he settled into his own room, his backup phone rang. Upon checking, he saw it was a call from Zhong Wenzhou. Lin Shun informed his audience that he would mute the stream again before answering the call. Zhong Wenzhou's tone was grave. "Lin Shun, the incident involving Luo Xian has been resolved. She is now checked into a hotel, and our team is still monitoring her." Fortunately, the relevant stretch of road had surveillance cameras, capturing the entire incident. "I will send you the footage shortly." Lin Shun acknowledged this, and Zhong Wenzhou continued, "From the video, it's evident that Luo Xian is quite extraordinary. Her reflexes and skills far exceed those of the average person. The off-road vehicle she was driving has been salvaged. Interestingly, we discovered the detached driver's side door, which bore a remarkably clear palm print structure from the inside out. Preliminary tests indicated that the palm print matched the size of Luo Xian's left hand, and the area covered by the print exhibited astonishingly shattering cracks within the steel material. I just attempted the energy transfer technique you taught me on the same steel of the door, and while I could barely create a similar palm print, I was unable to replicate such shattering structural characteristics." Upon hearing this, Lin Shun's eyes sparkled with insight. Zhong Wenzhou's voice turned unusually grave as he slowly stated, "We suspect she possesses Qi Gong skills." Chapter 352. The calculations above. He Tang has been released on bail. Qi Gong. Lin Shun was taken aback. However, Luo Xian's Qi Gong likely pertains to the cultivation of true energy. The extent of her mastery remains unknown. He inquired, "Are there practitioners of Qi Gong within the Ministry of National Security?" Zhong Wenzhou hesitated for a moment before responding, "There are none in the ministry. But I know of 2 local experts in their 60s or 70s who can effortlessly make all the sunflower seeds on a table peel with a single palm strike. They have been invited to share their methods, but only a handful of people in the ministry, including old Zhou, have developed a sense of qi, which lacks practical significance." He then expressed a sentiment. "Those 2 local masters have mentioned that cultivating qi is also about nurturing the heart. It requires not only talent, but also an undistracted mind to achieve success. Unlike in ancient times, the present era is rife with distractions, and even those with potential find it difficult to devote their energy and focus. If Luo Xian has indeed successfully cultivated qi, she is truly remarkable." Lin Shun chuckled in response, casually suggesting, "Then why not recruit her into the ministry? It would save me some trouble." However, Zhong Wenzhou replied earnestly, "There is indeed such a consideration, provided she hasn't committed any crimes." Lin Shun remarked, "That settles it. Pei Shanshan was most likely killed by her." Zhong Wenzhou acknowledged, "This is indeed a troublesome matter. However, the higher-ups have already determined that Pei Shanshan engaged in treasonous activities by secretly transferring a significant amount of confidential Tang country map data to the Color Flag Nation for personal gain, posing a severe threat to the nation and its people, and thus has violated espionage laws. Even if she weren't murdered, she would still face the death penalty. Moreover, if the Color Flag Nation fails to solve the case, legally speaking, Luo Xian would be innocent." Upon hearing this, Lin Shun's expression became peculiar. "It is evident that your ministry is quite desperate for personnel. You seem willing to accept anyone. Be cautious not to invite a wolf to your door." Zhong Wenzhou replied confidently, "You need not worry about that." He then lowered his voice. "Additionally, there is something I believe you should know. This afternoon, He Tang was released on bail." Lin Shun was taken aback. How could he possibly be released? Zhong Wenzhou sighed. The primary reason for his prior arrest was his agreement to the scheme devised by Jiesun's public relations manager, Li Lia, to frame you, making him an accomplice. However, despite your provision of the video evidence, their identities did not appear on it. Moreover, even in the recorded conversations, He Tang did not explicitly endorse the plan. He merely expressed vague approval, which could be interpreted as him finding the plan acceptable, but it does not indicate his personal agreement to its execution. Therefore, strictly speaking, it cannot serve as direct evidence of He Tang's consent to the plan. As for the subsequent call recording you provided of He Tang and Zheng Xiangnan, it also only hinted at suggestions without directly stating that the five-star group should frame you for patent infringement. You know how professional Jiesun's legal team is. So there was no other option but to release him. Lin Chen furrowed his brow. One could only say that He Tang is meticulous and astute in all his actions, leaving no room for incrimination. Given the circumstances, one could only accept it. He then asked, what about his father and cousins? They haven't been released, have they? Zhong Wenzhou, relieved, replied, no, those individuals have solid evidence against them and cannot be released. However, you must be more cautious. He Tang will undoubtedly harbor intense hatred towards you and will seek ways to target you. Lin Chun dismissed the concern with a smile. Let him come. I want to see what tricks he has up his sleeve. As long as he refrains from resorting to underhanded tactics like explosive trucks, I am not particularly worried about He Tang. Besides, I possess the curse of misfortune. If pressed, I could ensure he spends the rest of his life bedridden. Zhong Wenzhou stated, all right, I won't disturb you further. Contact me if anything arises. With that, he ended the call. Moments later, Lin Chun received a video of the surveillance footage from Zhong Wenzhou. Modern cameras, designed to capture clear license plate numbers, provided high-definition clarity. The overhead view effectively reconstructed the entire sequence of events. The brief 15-second video was quickly reviewed. Lin Chen observed Luo Xian decisively and calmly discarding her burning-down jacket. A contemplative expression crossed his face as he acknowledged he had underestimated Luo Xian. It was not merely a bruise from the impact. Her strength was indeed formidable. If he were to use Li Ziao as a unit of measurement for comparison, Li Ziao, 1 unit, Shui Er, 2 units, Yi Xiaoxi, 3 units, Song Zhuya and Luo Xian, 35 units. This was Lin Chen's rough estimation, likely containing some discrepancies, but not significantly so. As for the feat of sending a car door flying with a palm strike, in Lin Chen's eyes, it paled in comparison to the sheer impact of Luo Xian demonstrating her true strength. He then quietly entered Luo Xian's live stream using a secondary account. To his surprise, this woman was no longer at the hotel, but was instead wandering the streets of Dingkong City with her live stream, claiming to be shopping for clothes. These days, there are countless live streamers, especially in tourist cities like Dingkong, where one often encounters individuals wielding selfie sticks. Nevertheless, even though Luo Xian took care to wear a mask and hat, her tall and slender figure still attracted numerous curious glances. At that moment, Luo Xian remarked, once we finish shopping for clothes, let us go find Song Zhuya. Friends, do any of you know which branch of the ministry she belongs to in Dingkong? Lin Chen raised an eyebrow. Was this woman truly so oblivious? After such a significant incident, she still had the desire to meet the illustrious Song? What was even more infuriating was that in the comment section, there were indeed viewers proudly displaying their fan badges, sharing the address of Song Zhuya's workplace. Just then, it appeared that Luo Xian had set her sights on a particular store and was about to approach it when suddenly her footsteps halted, and she swiftly retreated a couple of steps. Crash! A window plummeted from above, crashing down right before her. A few shards of shattered glass flew towards her face. Luo Xian instinctively raised her hand to deflect the glass, sending the shards flying, and looked up at the source of the fallen window with an unusual expression. Perhaps realizing her luck was somewhat lacking that day, a chorus of gasps echoed around her. The comment section of her live stream exploded. Lin Chun silently chuckled to himself. Exiting the live stream, a 9-minute and 58-second high-level curse of misfortune was not something that would dissipate so quickly. She could enjoy it to the fullest. He then returned to his phone at the live stream, unmuting it. It seemed that viewers were already discussing Luo Xian's encounter with yet another mishap. However, more comments were flooding in, proclaiming that he had appeared again on the Tang Vision News. Lin Chun is impressive. Tang Vision News mentioned Lin Chun and the Quafu Group, reiterating the statement from the External Affairs Office. Appearing on Tang Vision News every few days, is there anyone besides Lin Chun? This is solid. In the future, when you see Lin Chun, be sure to greet him as Director Lin. Wait, the next news item reports that He Tang has been released on bail? Is this for real? He Tang is that impressive? I need to check this out. It's true. Beishan's Pizza Hut has some influence. He Tang has become the first person to be sent in by Lin Shun and then come back out. Lin Shun, I must inquire, are you feeling anxious? You have sent someone's father to the sewing machine, and He Tang will surely seek revenge in a mad frenzy. Chapter 353, The Assistant Arrives. Unintentionally seizing others' belongings. The barrage of comments was filled with news about He Tang's bail. Lin Shun observed the comments and smiled lightly, urging everyone to remain calm. What is the big deal? Why should I be anxious? Moreover, who says once you're out, you can never return? Upon hearing this, the comments exploded. Wow. Lin Shun is truly at odds with He Tang now. It's a fight to the finish. If we're going to do it, let us do it. I, Lin Shun, have never feared anyone. What is wrong with He Tang? I, Lin, now hold a respectable position. Who knows, I might just acquire Jieshu indirectly. Lin Shun is right. Who says you can't return once you've left? I often go out and then come back in. Real men always make a comeback. Lin Shun and He Tang are indeed rivals. The first battle is merely a trial of tactics, while the second will be the true test of endurance. But I believe Lin Shun will prevail in the end. Everyone was cheering Lin Shun on. He chuckled, all right. I've had quite a bit to drink earlier and feel a bit dizzy. Let us end the stream here. See you all tomorrow. The audience in the live stream protested vehemently, especially the regulars who had witnessed Lin Shun downing drinks with Lei Shengao and others. They felt he was merely seeking an excuse to end the broadcast. After all, they had seen him easily handle 5 bottles of Mao Dai. However, this time, Lin Shun genuinely intended to conclude the stream, directly instructing Xiao Ji to shut it down. Afterward, he simply sat on a small sofa, waiting. 2 minutes later, his phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number, consistent with the contact from the High-Tech Institute previously provided by Zhong Wenzhou. Upon answering, a middle-aged man's voice emerged, Academician Lin. Hello, my name is Xiang Huai-ou, the person in charge sent by the High-Tech Institute to collaborate with you on research. I wonder if you are available now? Lin Shun replied, I am available. Where are you? I'll come over now. The other party promptly provided an address. After hanging up, Lin Shun folded his livestream phone and placed it in his pocket, leaving the room. After some thought, he knocked on the door of Li Xiao and Schwerer's room. Dressed in pajamas, Schwerer opened the door, her face slightly flushed. Lin Shun glanced inside and saw that Li Xiao had already fallen asleep. Evidently, both women had also indulged in plenty of red wine, and now the effects were apparent. Lin Shun said, I have something to attend to, so I'll step out for a bit. Remember to lock the door. Schwerer's gaze was somewhat peculiar, hesitating to speak. Lin Shun asked, what's wrong? Schwerer stammered. Are you going to wash your feet? What on earth? Lin Shun responded, perplexed. Schwerer's face reddened further as she continued. Don't men typically go to those kinds of places after drinking? Lin Shun stared at her, astonished and speechless. Indeed, Schwerer was not simple. She was aware of such matters. He flicked her forehead lightly, half amused and half exasperated. What nonsense. Do I look like that kind of person? I have serious business to attend to. Take good care of Li Xiao. If she feels like throwing up, find her a trash can. Schwerer covered her forehead, blushing, and uttered a shy "oh." As Lin Shun turned to leave, she could not help but say, come back early. Lin Shun waved his hand without looking back, saying, it might be a bit late. I might not return until tomorrow morning. You should get some rest. Watching Lin Shun enter the elevator, Schwerer murmured to herself, could it be a late-night rendezvous? Upon exiting the hotel, Lin Shun immediately noticed several personnel from the Nguesi lurking near the hotel. He felt a wave of relief. Following the navigation for a while, he stopped by a mobile phone store. Upon entering, he purchased a phone from the Jew factory. Prioritizing storage capacity, he chose one with 1 terabyte of memory. He instructed Xiao Ji to transfer all the data from his spare phone to the new one before continuing toward his navigation destination. After a short while, Lin Shun arrived outside a private courtyard, where a steel gate stood firmly closed. Despite its remote location, he sensed many watchful eyes hidden around. A figure approached him from a distance, none other than Li Yuan, the personnel from Nguesi who had been leading them earlier. Commander, please hold on a moment, Li Yuan said, approaching the iron gate. He knocked in a specific rhythm. Soon, the gate opened, revealing a middle-aged man with an air of scholarly elegance who warmly invited Lin Shun inside before securely closing the gate. Academician Lin, I am Xiang Huai-ou. The one who called you, the man stated, extending his hand. Lin Shun smiled and shook his hand, replying, thank you for making the long journey here. As Xiang Huai-ou led the way, he chuckled, Academician Lin, you flatter us. It is our honor to learn from you. You may not know this, but many in the institute nearly came to blows to secure this opportunity. The most unfortunate must be Gu Feifei. She was initially confirmed for the position, but due to her brother's situation, her qualification was rescinded at the last moment. Lin Shun inquired, Who is her brother? Xiang Huai-ou replied, Gu Shiyun. You should remember him. Lin Chun chuckled softly, realizing how Gu Shiyun had acquired those panda eyes in his apology video. He merely smiled and refrained from further comment. The courtyard was expansive, leading to a rectangular standalone building resembling an abandoned factory. Xiang Huai-ou brought Lin Chun to the building's entrance and knocked on the door. A woman, appearing to be around 35, answered. She was of average appearance, yet her demeanor exuded focus. Upon seeing Lin Chun, her eyes sparkled with excitement as she extended her hand. Hello, Academician Lin. I am Ding Lan. It is a great honor to meet you. Lin Chun shook her hand, nodding with a smile as he entered the building. Inside, the space was indeed a vacant factory, now impeccably clean. The vast area was filled with various instruments and equipment, with 8 long tables laden with an assortment of items. In addition to Xiang Huai-ou and Ding Lan, 2 others were present. One was a tall, slender man in his 30s, wearing glasses and exuding a somewhat aloof demeanor. The other was a strikingly beautiful woman with long hair, appearing to be in her 20s, but likely in her 30s upon closer inspection. Upon seeing Lin Chun, the long-haired woman approached and shook his hand, revealing 2 charming dimples. Hello, Academician Lin. I am Jing Qiuyu. The tall man also stepped forward, scrutinizing Lin Chun with a cold expression, stating, I am Du Gao. First and foremost, I want to clarify that I am here merely to ascertain what level of talent could possibly seize an academician-esque position from me. Xiang Huai-ou, Jing Qiuyu. And the others immediately changed expressions. Xiang Huai-ou hurriedly explained to Lin Chun, Academician Lin, Du Gao is one of the most outstanding geniuses in our high-tech institute. He doesn't harbor ill intentions. He is simply a bit ambitious and usually doesn't engage much with others. Typically, the selection of academicians has strict requirements, and the slots are exceedingly limited. Du Gao had a strong chance of being selected this year, but Lin Chun chuckled lightly. But I cut in line and snatched his spot. Du Gao's eyes flared with indignation, mixed with a sense of humiliation. He had witnessed the content of Lin Chun's live stream, particularly the patent designs, and was profoundly astonished. Yet, this only fueled his disbelief that such things could be concocted by a mere 25-year-old internet streamer. There must undoubtedly be a research team behind it. Recognizing this fact, upon realizing that his title of academician had been snatched away by Lin Chun, he reacted with intense agitation, unable to accept the loss. With a bitter smile directed at Xiang Huai-ou, he remarked that aside from this issue, Du Gao's capabilities were undoubtedly adequate. The institute had dispatched him to assist Academician Lin in completing the experiment as swiftly and effectively as possible. If any offense was caused, he requested Lin to be magnanimous. He then turned to Du Gao, sternly commanding, Du Gao, you must apologize to Academician Lin immediately. Lin Chun raised his hand, surveying the assembly with a calm gaze that ultimately settled on Du Gao. He stated, what Academician Lin just said holds significant truth. You are here to learn. To put it bluntly, you are here to steal knowledge. The notion of you assisting as an aide is merely a euphemistic pretext. I could accomplish the modifications to the live streaming phone without you just as easily. Your discontent is inconsequential. I do not require your approval. Therefore, you may leave now. At this proclamation, the atmosphere in the workshop became palpably tense. Chapter 354. Do these machines come with instruction manuals? The emergence of a super invention in the silence. Du Gao's expression darkened considerably. Throughout Tang country, from childhood to adulthood, he had always been the epitome of the golden child in the eyes of his neighbors. He had accelerated through his education, entering university at 15, pursuing both his master's and doctoral degrees by 18, and obtaining his PhD at 21. Subsequently stepping directly into the prestigious Academy of High Technology. Even within the talented ranks of the Academy, he had quickly distinguished himself, rising to the pinnacle of his cohort. After years of relentless effort, Du Gao believed he had reached the apex among his peers. In terms of intellect and scholarship, he was undoubtedly among the elite of his generation. Rather than feeling disgruntled over losing the title of academician to Lin Chun, he found it intolerable to accept that there existed individuals more brilliant and youthful than himself. Not to mention, this individual's primary focus was not even research, but merely that of a live-streaming host. At that moment, Lin Chun's words, "You may leave now," ignited the flames of fury within him. With a sardonic smile, he retorted, "Had it not been for Gu Feifei's disqualification, I wouldn't have bothered coming." He then disregarded Xiang Huaiou's attempt to intervene, turning on his heel and exiting through the large door. The atmosphere within the workshop became awkwardly charged. Lin Chun glanced at Ding Lan and Jing Qiuyu, saying, "I apologize. My previous remarks may have been somewhat harsh, but they are indeed the truth. If you find it uncomfortable, You are welcome to leave now. Before he could finish, Ding Lon quickly interjected, I feel quite comfortable, quite comfortable. At over 35, her eyes sparkled with admiration, akin to a fan encountering a long-desired celebrity. Jing Qiuyu's eyes also gleamed with an unusual light. Talented individuals are always like this. I completely understand. Lin Shun then turned his gaze towards Xiang Huayo, who appeared somewhat embarrassed and apologetically said, Academician Lin, I truly apologize. I never anticipated this situation would arise. Would you like me to call Gu Feifei? Lin Shun, taken aback, responded, wasn't Gu Feifei disqualified? Wouldn't it be too late to call her now? Xiang Huayo, in his 40s, chuckled shyly. Although she didn't board the designated flight, she purchased her own ticket to follow us here. It didn't cost much, and she is currently staying at a nearby hotel. I had a premonition that Du Gao might cause trouble, so I kept a backup. Ding Lon and Jing Qiuyu were clearly unaware of this arrangement, staring at Xiang Huayo in astonishment. Lin Shun, too, found himself speechless. Was the term backup truly appropriate in this context? He couldn't help but reflect that Du Gao was still too young. His minor schemes were easily maneuvered by Xiang Huayo. He nonchalantly nodded, then please call her. He then proceeded to inspect the array of instruments and materials laid out before him. After a brief examination, he nodded. Everything seems to be in order. He retrieved the foldable live-streaming phone from his pocket, unfolding it. The device floated silently into the air. Xiang Huayo and the others fixed their gaze upon the live-streaming phone, unable to look away, their eyes sparkling with excitement. This was the legendary device. At that moment, they were eager to dismantle it immediately and delve into its internal structure. Just then, the workshop door swung open once more. A short-haired woman, breathless and flushed, hurried in, approaching Lin Shun with quickened steps. Her eyes brimmed with excitement as she shyly introduced herself. Hello, Lin Shun, I am Gu Feifei. The title Lin Shun rolled off her tongue pleasingly. Lin Shun acknowledged her with a simple and declared, now that everyone is present, let us commence. Xiang Huayo appeared taken aback. Academician Lin, are we starting just like that? Do you not have a prepared experimental plan? Lin Shun pointed to his own head, stating, all the plans are in here. He then began directing those present to assist him in readying the instruments and materials. Once everything was fully prepared, Lin Shun gazed at the instruments before him. Deep in thought, Gu Feifei, feeling anxious, asked, Lin Shun, is there something wrong? Lin Shun's expression turned grave. Does this instrument come with an instruction manual? The assembly collectively gasped. The answer was yes. However, in order to save time, Lin Shun instructed Gu Feifei and the others to assist him, meticulously following his directives for various operations. From an initial flurry of activity to a more organized approach, the process took about an hour. Throughout this time, Lin Shun occasionally checked the live stream of Luo Xian on his new spare phone, finding amusement in it. In summary, Luo Xian was experiencing what could only be described as a series of unfortunate events. In a brief span, she faced incidents ranging from a streetlight crashing down upon her head, being chased and bitten by a pack of stray mastiffs, to discovering half a cockroach in her dinner and subsequently vomiting, and even getting attacked by a hawk mid-stride. Clearly, Luo Xian sensed that today was particularly unlucky and ultimately abandoned the idea of seeking out Song Zhuya. Upon returning to her hotel, preparing to boil water, she accidentally overfilled the kettle, causing hot water to spill out and spark upon lifting it. Luo Xian's expression darkened. In a word, the entertainment value was explosive. The live-streaming audience surged, surpassing 40 million. In the end, Luo Xian dared not undertake any further actions, wrapping herself in her new clothes and climbing into bed while continuing to stream. 2 hours later, everything that needed preparation was complete. Observing the array of newly synthesized materials on the table, Lin Shun engaged in intricate calculations within his mind. Moments later, he devised 5 synthetic plans and began operating the instruments personally. During this time, he had taken advantage of the lull while Xiang Huayo and the others synthesized materials to review the instruction manuals for all the instruments, becoming quite familiar with their operational methods. Xiang Huayo and the others watched in a mix of tension and anticipation, as even now, they remained unaware of what Lin Shun intended to create. Half an hour later, Lin Shun opened one of the instruments, examining the dark, stone-like substance that had been synthesized. He raised an eyebrow before discarding it. Ding Lon winced at the sight. Just that small amount of material had already cost over $1 million in raw materials. Subsequent attempts, the second and third experiments, failed to meet Lin Shun's expectations. Closing his eyes in contemplation, he initiated the 4th experiment. Another half hour passed. As the countdown on the instrument concluded, Lin Shun pressed the button, and the instrument's lid slowly opened. A chorus of gasps erupted in the room. Xiang Huayo and the others stared wide-eyed. What did they see? A mass that seemed to consist of countless black dust particles coalescing into a fluid form, suspended in midair, constantly shifting in shape, with faint arcs of electricity flickering within. After a few seconds, the fluid gradually stabilized and slowly descended, transforming into a black substance that resembled both a magnet and plastic. A satisfied smile graced Lin Chen's face. He reached out and grasped the mass, promptly tearing it apart like modeling clay, dividing it into 5 pieces the size of broad beans, which he placed on an insulated tray. The crowd could not resist gathering around. Xiang Huayo gazed at the substance on the tray, lost in contemplation and confusion. Jing Qiuyu's eyes widened with curiosity as she inquired, "Academician Lin, what is this? What is its purpose?" Lin Chen smiled faintly and asked, "Does anyone have a lighter?" Xiang Huayo promptly produced one, the kind that costs a mere $1. Lin Chen took the lighter, disassembled it, and extracted the black electric igniter within. Then, under the puzzled gazes of the onlookers, he brought the wires of the igniter close to one piece of the substance. Crack! A faint spark leaped from the wire, landing on the black material. In an instant, the substance defied gravity, floating effortlessly in the air. After 2 seconds, it began to descend gently, akin to a dandelion seed. Jing Qiuyu and the others were left dumbfounded. Forgetting to breathe, Lin Chen remarked, "Let us call it anti-gravity soil for now. You have all witnessed its specific characteristics, as long as there is an electric current. Even as weak as that from a lighter, a transformation occurs, rapidly diminishing its own gravity while simultaneously repelling Earth's gravitational pull, achieving a state of suspension. The greater the current, the more pronounced the anti-gravity effect. With this substance, my live-streaming phone will no longer require propellers, and it will save over 60% in power consumption. However, developing the material is merely the first step. There is still much to accomplish to allow the live-streaming phone to change direction freely." Upon hearing this, Xiang Huayo and the others gasped in astonishment. Chapter 355, The Appearance of Death. Gunshots roared after several seconds, exclamations erupted. Xiang Huayo, overwhelmed with excitement, leaned over the insulated tray, his face flushed. "This is unbelievable. I thought you had developed a room-temperature superconductor. I never imagined it was an anti-gravity conductor. Unlike impulse gravity generators that produce limited gravitational impulses through strong currents, this entirely new material possesses the miraculous characteristic of integrating gravity and anti-gravity. The electric current serves as the trigger for this integrated characteristic. This substance, anti-gravity soil, is undoubtedly the greatest invention of this century." He suddenly turned, his eyes reddening, and fixated on Lin Chen. "Are you only considering its application in your live-streaming phone? Do you have any idea how vast its potential applications are? It could revolutionize entire eras, transportation, military, every aspect of life, even allowing humanity to enter the cosmic era ahead of schedule." Gu Feifei also appeared exhilarated, her complexion flushed, her voice trembling. "With this, can't we create flying saucers like those in sci-fi movies?" Ding Lan and Jing Qiuyu's gazes toward Lin Chen had transformed dramatically. Being in a high-tech institute and encountering more geniuses, they understood that some individuals could not merely be described as geniuses. They were prodigies, just like Du Gao, who had stormed out in anger moments ago. Within the high-tech institute, the doubts harbored against Lin Chen were not limited to Du Gao. However, from the moment Lin Chen created the anti-gravity soil, all skepticism seemed utterly ludicrous. He was a deity. They could think of no other term to describe Lin Chen. Suddenly, without warning, Lin Chen lifted his coat and fired 2 shots at the crouching Xiang Huayo. The bullets pierced through, accurately striking Xiang Huayo's 2 vital points. Accompanied by a spray of blood and Xiang Huayo's piercing screams, he collapsed to the ground. A plastic gun, no larger than an infant's palm, fell from his pants. Stained with blood, Gu Feifei and the others were left dumbfounded. They could not comprehend why Lin Chen would suddenly shoot at Xiang Huayo. Struggling on the ground, Xiang Huayo turned slowly, his face pale, revealing an expression of terror and disbelief. Bang! Lin Chen pushed aside Gu Feifei, advancing toward the astonished Xiang Huayo while continuing to fire. Bang! 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 Each shot hit Xiang Huayo's shoulders and knees. Xiang Huayo leaned against the long table leg, trembling uncontrollably, wailing in agony. Lin Chen approached, grasped his chin, and with a crack, dislocated it. He then retrieved a cloth from the table, wrapped the fallen plastic gun, and coldly stated, "Academician Xiang, are you willing to betray your country for a mere handful of anti-gravity soil? What is your true identity? Who sent you? And what is your purpose?" Upon seeing the plastic gun, Ding Lan, Gu Feifei, and Jing Qiuyu suddenly realized what had transpired. Being at the high-tech institute, they naturally understood that this toy-like plastic gun possessed lethal capabilities comparable to a real firearm. Before arriving in Sichuan, they had all undergone thorough searches and scans to ensure they carried no weapons. And now, Xiang Huayo had concealed such a gun. What did this signify? Xiang Huayo had betrayed his country. In contrast, Lin Chen's possession of a gun became inconsequential. When they looked at Lin Chen again, the three women could not help but wear strange expressions. After dislocating Xiang Huayo's chin, what could they expect him to answer? They were unaware that Lin Chen had already employed mind-reading techniques to extract the answers he sought from Xiang Huayo's mind. Xiang Huayo held 3 identities: academician of the High-Tech Institute, a covert agent of the Security Bureau, and a senior spy working for the colorful flag nation in Tang country. He was the very individual Lin Chen had been searching for, the one from the realm of death. Before coming to Sichuan, Xiang Huayo had anticipated the possibility of activation and prepared a mini plastic gun capable of evading scans, which he had glued beneath his vital points. Indeed, after making the call to Lin Chen, he received what appeared to be a mundane spam message, from which he deciphered his mission. He was to do everything possible to incite rebellion. If that failed, he was to seize the technology and eliminate Lin Chen. Xiang Huayo's decision to draw his gun had already violated orders from the colorful flag nation, bypassing the step of inciting rebellion. Witnessing Lin Chen create anti-gravity soil left Xiang Huayo profoundly shaken, yet it also instilled immense fear within him. Such a formidable individual, he believed, must be eliminated immediately to prevent any opportunity for him to assist Tang country in its rise. Thus, while he had been marveling at the anti-gravity soil, he had also been discreetly observing the crowd. Noticing that everyone's attention was focused on the anti-gravity soil, he had taken advantage of his open coat to conceal his hand and prepared to draw his gun. However, before he could make a move, Lin Chen had shot him twice, rendering him incapacitated. In truth, Lin Chen had employed mind-reading merely to confirm his suspicions. Long before exiting the hotel, he had heard Xiao Zhi's voice informing him that the identity of the individual from the realm of death had been confirmed. Confirmation was one thing, but evidence was essential. Otherwise, it would be challenging to explain to Zhong Wenzhou how he had known in advance that Xiang Huayo was a spy. Therefore, from the moment he encountered Xiang Huayo, he had been discreetly observing him. Upon noticing Xiang Huayo's furtive actions and suspecting a potential threat, he acted decisively. Just then, the factory's iron door swung open violently, and Li Yuan, accompanied by armed personnel, rushed in, followed by the departing Du Gao. Upon witnessing the scene, Du Gao was left stunned. All agents of the Security Bureau trained their weapons on Xiang Huayo and Gu Feifei, swiftly forming a protective circle around Lin Chen. Li Yuan, visibly anxious, asked, "Instructor, what happened? Did you fire the shots?" Lin Chen nodded, handing the wrapped plastic gun to Li Yuan. "It fell from Xiang Huayo. Investigate thoroughly. He is likely a spy." Upon hearing these words, Du Gao, who was outside the protective circle, could not accept it and shouted, "Impossible. Academician Xiang cannot be a spy." Li Yuan pointed his gun at Du Gao, barking an order to shut up, which startled Du Gao so much that he nearly lost his footing and quickly closed his mouth. Li Yuan then cast a cold, piercing gaze towards Gu Feifei and the others, inquiring, "What about them?" Lin Chen glanced at Gu Feifei and the other two, employing his mind-reading technique to ascertain their current thoughts. Shaking his head, he replied, "They pose no threat. Take Xiang Huayo away. I still have work to do." Li Yuan nodded and immediately directed the others to drag Xiang Huayo and Du Gao out, also taking along the 2 broken eggs on the floor. These were all pieces of evidence. As the door closed, the factory fell into silence. Lin Chen sheathed his gun and addressed the 3 women, saying, "Let us continue." Chapter 356. Who is Lin Chen really? The mission accomplished. Upon hearing this, Gu Feifei and the others exchanged glances, their perception of Lin Chen having transformed. Previously, they had regarded him as nothing short of a genius in research. Little did they know, he was also a lethal force. The sight of Lin Chen calmly firing multiple shots at Xiang Huayo left a profound impact on their souls. It was evident that Lin Chen was no novice with a firearm. His precision was remarkable, each shot creating a gaping wound. Even now, he appeared unfazed as if nothing had transpired, continuing his research. What manner of man was he? A live-streaming host? A musical prodigy? The king of whistleblowers? A deity of scientific inquiry? A cold-blooded killer? It was hard to fathom how so many identities could converge in a single individual. Jing Qiyu could not contain her curiosity and asked, "Academician Lin, when did you realize there was something off about Academician Xiang Huayo?" Lin Chen casually explained, "From the moment we met, I noticed his gait was somewhat abnormal, which piqued my interest. However, the most crucial factor was the murderous intent I sensed from him. Along with his peculiar gestures, Ding Lan's eyes widened in disbelief. You fired just because of that? Sensing murderous intent sounds rather mystical, doesn't it? What if you were mistaken? Jing Qiu interjected seriously. Murderous intent is not as nebulous as it seems. I have a senior who has conducted research in this area. Even an ordinary person with a sufficiently strong sixth sense can feel when someone is watching them, leading them to instinctively glance in that direction. For trained soldiers or seasoned warriors, they can sense concealed murderous intent and react instinctively before an attack is launched. As she spoke, she looked at Lin Shun with a newfound respect. Academician Lin must belong to that category. Oh, is that so? Lin Shun instinctively attempted to feign a look of enlightenment alongside Ding Lan and Gu Feifei. He quickly regained his composure and said, let us not dwell on this. We should start now and aim to complete everything before dawn. Gu Feifei and the others promptly focused their minds and began collaborating with Lin Shun. He first retrieved the live-streaming phone and proceeded to disassemble it. The three women gathered around, witnessing for the first time the intricate inner workings of this mysterious device. Their expressions filled with awe. It was evident to them that Lin Shen's phone was indeed a DIY creation. From the motherboard to the camera, all components could be sourced from various manufacturers. The screen, capable of folding 4 times, was crafted from 8 small folding displays meticulously joined together. This innovative assembly method left Gu Feifei and the others astounded. What captivated them most was the phone's battery. It felt semi-soft in hand. A thin layer resembling a small square water pouch filled with viscous fluid. This was the thermal semi-fluid battery Lin Shun had mentioned in his documentation. After the disassembly, Lin Shun instructed the 3 women to gather various small components, some of which required temporary design and reconstruction. Particularly for the back cover, Lin Shun utilized a lightweight, impact-resistant alloy typically used in aerospace applications, redesigning and casting it anew. This endeavor lasted over 2 hours. During the process, Lin Shun received a prompt from Xiao Ji. Having identified 8 individuals suspected of being foreign spies, Xiao Ji had extracted their identities and locations, sending the information to a backup phone. Lin Shun forwarded this intelligence to Zhong Wenzhou, appending a single word, spy. Although it was late at night, Lin Shun was confident that Zhong Wenzhou, passionate about his work, would be unable to sleep. Indeed, Zhong Wenzhou quickly responded with an ode gesture. Once all preliminary tasks were concluded, Lin Shun began reassembling the phone. The anti-gravity soil, divided into 5 small pieces, was pressed into uniformly sized and weighted discs, which were then embedded in designated grooves. Following this, he connected the circuitry. After more than half an hour, the transformation was complete. Externally, the live-streaming phone appeared only slightly thinner than before, with no significant differences. A smile broke across Lin Shen's face. At last, it is done. Gu Feifei blinked in surprise. What about the software? Doesn't it require a complete redesign? The algorithm must be extraordinarily precise to control the discharge of the 5 pieces of anti-gravity soil for the flying mode, right? Lin Shen shook his head. Not necessary. Xiao Ji, power it on. As his words fell, the live-streaming phone's screen illuminated after a few seconds. Lin Shun continued, Xiao Ji, design a control program to enable the phone's normal flight. Xiao Ji responded, understood, father. The screen suddenly filled with rapidly scrolling lines of code. Gu Feifei and the others were left in astonishment. They were aware of Xiao Ji's existence, and even within the High-Tech Institute, there was a Xiao Ji, particularly Jing Qiu, who was a computer prodigy and had interacted with Xiao Ji extensively over the past few days, had developed a rough understanding of its intelligence level. The Xiao Ji at the High-Tech Institute, while indeed superior to all known intelligent AIs, still seemed a stretch in Jing Qiu's eyes for being able to independently write programs based on a vague concept. If this were to become commonplace, all programmers would be out of work. She could not help but exclaim, so Xiao Ji can achieve such a level? Lin Shen glanced at her and replied, this is the upgraded version. The one at the High-Tech Institute probably cannot. Jing Qiu was left speechless, her mind racing. How long had it been since Lin Shen upgraded Xiao Ji again? Suddenly, it dawned on her that Lin Shun had been logging off early these past few days, presumably to enhance Xiao Ji. Yes, that must be it. Her eyes sparkled with fervor. Just as she was about to speak, Lin Shen casually interrupted, not happening. All the words Jing Qiu had wanted to express were swallowed back down, leaving her feeling both regretful and helpless, yet unable to suppress her admiration for Lin Shun. As she turned her gaze back to the live-streaming phone, her envy intensified. For someone of her caliber as a top programmer, the scene before her was akin to what? A car enthusiast spotting a one-of-a-kind luxury vehicle with its keys in another's possession? a footwear aficionado witnessing a line of coveted limited edition sneakers, all available for selection by others. A soon-to-be married individual seeing a group of bridesmaids, all close friends, each casting extraordinary glances in their direction. At that moment, Jing Xiaoyu could not help but entertain a wild thought. If she could win Lin Chun over, would she get a glimpse at Xiao Zhi's source code? Lin Chun, keenly aware of Jing Xiaoyu's unusual behavior, cautiously employed his mind-reading ability. The revelation left him rather unsettled, prompting him to discreetly step back a couple of paces.